disappeared.
Oh god, is it on this screen?
Oh yeah.
This is why we need the preview screen before the show starts.
I'm gonna go eat my nachos over here.
Before you go.
What?
Hello and welcome to Shanahanigans Live on this
Hello.
Wednesday. Let's give you the quick update what this episode's going to be about. Katie, give me the news sound. In this episode of Shanahanigans Live, tattoos, do you own them? Also, Hawkeye, symbol of female empowerment, or equally as sexy. And Daniel Craig takes on the role of Chicken Little when the sky is falling!
Whoops. Let me turn the volume down.
Thank you. All that and more on Shanahanigans Live. How's it going,
Yay.
Katie? How's it going, Nachos?
Good. It's good. We had an interesting discussion before this because you kept singing,
Okay, right before the show started, it's a little dark in here. I can move a light over a little.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to help at all.
I'm just going to eat nachos off screen so you guys don't need to see me eat.
So right before the show started, like we were talking about Lord of the Hobbit. And I was sitting here singing.
You were sitting downstairs demanding I bring you nachos with your Gandalf
yes,
voice.
That was the start of it.
Bilbo Baggins!
Bring me nachos, Hobbit! Whatever he says. So I was up here just like humming along the. And I was like, I vaguely know the lyrics. I'm like, 2 dungeons deep. And then that evolved to me being like, yo, this is 2 dungeons deep, yo. And then Katie's like, you do know the song is saying they're going 2 dungeons that are deep, it's not 2 dungeons deep.
Yo,
not
we're going 2 dungeons deep.
It's not 2 dungeons worth of deepness. And I was just like,
that's not it.
Oh crap, really? Because I thought the song was saying like, you guys have been to dungeons before. This one's like 2 dungeons deep,
but
man.
2 levels of dungeons doesn't sound very hardcore.
I thought it was like 2 floors of dungeons. I'm like, wow, that's pretty deep.
But I mean, that's not like, you think like any Zelda game, you're going down like 6, 7 floors, it's like 2 dungeons deep.
Well, no, the Zelda dungeon is a dungeon in a hole, right? So if you had 2 7-floor Zelda dungeons, that's like 14 dungeons.
It's very
deep. So I was thinking they're singing about this 14-floor establishment that they're going to hang out in.
Right. I don't know, I could be wrong.
But I don't know, maybe we're both wrong. If you guys want to tell us who's wrong, who's right, be sure to jump in the chat right now. We got
Or just jump on the Hobbit and read how it's spelled. Is it T-W-O or T-O?
Yes. This light is just not getting anything.
I was supposed to Daybed is blocking it.
Maybe. That's true. How you guys doing? We got a bunch of people here.
Hello, people.
I'm going to sneeze soon.
I'm going to buy nachos.
Yeah.
Bye, Daniel Luke.
So, once again, we're here on live stream. We're still experimenting with it, so if the audio is blippy or weird, please do tell us so we can tell the people running live stream and they'll jump right on that.
Yeah, because they've been really good with getting back to us.
They have been good. They've been very good. Katie is on the show, don't worry. I think Shaggy is losing this one.
I'm just over here.
What, dungeons? Screw you. It's 2 of them.
There you go.
We got Chris the host just joining us. What's up, Chris the host?
What's up?
So, one thing, I guess, well, you're eating right now, so maybe we'll start at a different topic. So, okay, tis the holiday season. I had my holiday party at work. It was nice. Quite a to-do. We went down to the exhibition. It was the big venue called the Muzak, misspelled, of course, with a K or something.
Well, the place is like a club.
Oh, yeah, it's nuts. And the event was basically like a wedding, honestly. Because it was basically like, they had like the lounge sides. It's like the trifecta of lounges and bars. And it was open bar till 2 a.m., which was delightful. And in the middle is the big dance floor with like, you look up and there's like just these like materials and a disco ball and stuff, and everyone's just dancing. It was very reminiscent of going to like a family wedding.
TV dinner is messing. It's like, what if it's 2 dungeons deep? As in like, that's dungeons deep. Is it dungeons deep or is it 2 dungeons deep?
Well, no, I'm trying to deconstruct.
Like too much dungeons deep.
Does that work phonetically though? Like, man, no. that's too. Like you could say, hey, is this shirt very McDonald's? And you're like, that's 2 McDonald's, man. Like, maybe if it's like that.
Yeah.
But if it's like, so if you're saying dungeons is like, what, adjective or like what it's like, it's like, man, that place is 2 dungeons, man. You gotta calm that shit down.
Anita says that I can eat nachos in front of camera. You don't mind? I mind! I don't want the shit.
Well, if that's the case. So, Christmas party. I don't know if I brought this up before. If you listen to my Ye Oldie podcast, you know the occupation I have the greatest beef with is charity workers. Not what they do, but how they do it. Those guys are dicks. Listen to the podcast, you'll understand. You may think, oh, look at this guy hating on charity, but no.
We're not saying all, but there's a certain kind of person with a clipboard
who's
very aggressive.
Who is very aggressive and pretends to be your friend and then flips the tables. I won't spoil anything. Check out Talking to the Microphone charity workers, whichever episode it is. But another occupation I also realize that I am displeased with is bathroom attendant. Because these guys, this is all tied to my Christmas party experience. So if you've been to the swankier, classier environments or the clubs, there's a person who hangs out in the bathroom waiting for you. Now,
That sounds creepy.
That's the job description in my mind.
That's your business card.
What do you do? Well, let me tell you. And the thing is, the idea is, like, they're there. I don't know if this is just to show the place has class, because it's kind of like, oh, we don't have hand dryer machines. We have a hand dryer man.
No, we don't have hand dryer machines. We just want you to feel awkward.
Yeah. There's a dude who's hanging up by the sink, and I feel like I'm a capable human being who can go like this to get some soap, and go like this to get some air on my hands from a machine, or grab a paper towel. But the bathroom attendant replaces the need for you to be able to do things you can do by rushing at you with paper towels and soap, and then coughing and elbowing their tip jar towards you.
Weird.
And like, that job aggravates me.
It's really weird. Because the only time I've ever seen that was when I used to go clubbing.
Yeah.
Back in my youthful abandoned days. But it's like, it wouldn't even be fancy. It'd be kind of just like gross and weird.
Yeah.
And then there's a person there. Like, you don't go to a wedding or something and there's someone hanging out in the bathroom all the time. Like, offering you towels.
Sure. Yeah.
It's the soap that gets me because it's like, now are you going to massage my hands
Yeah, you
to
gotta
make sure
wash
I get it in there?
Are you worried that I wasn't gonna wash my hands, and now you're like, because there's a tactic you can do for kids who's like, yeah, I don't want to wash my hands. They're like, okay. Well, how about this? And you just slap some soap in their hands, like, ha, deal with it. So I wonder if that's what they're there for. But like, I've had my run-ins with washroom attendants before, but this time I was wise.
Oh, jeez.
Because I had a few in me, a couple drinks, so I was like thinking, and down the hall, like, because it's kind of like a two dungeons deep bathroom here. We had the sink area, and then we had like urinals and stalls. And inside one of the stalls, I don't know if this was for like kind of like for whatever reason, it was one of the larger bathroom stalls for like wheelchair access, but it had its own sink and its own like paper towels and shit. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna dodge this guy big time. So I'm looking, I see him, and I run in there, I do the wash, I start drying, I'm like, and in my intoxicated mind, I was just like, why should I not let him know I'm getting away with it? So I leaned down and was drying my hands looking right in his eyes. Because I wanted him to know I got him. I don't know why, but I was so angry at his existence that I just went like, toss that bad boy in the garbage, rush my ass out there. So that was round one.
Part of me, I don't know.
There's more to this story.
Okay.
That was round one. Now, once again, I have nothing against the dude, but it's just that the existence of that, it's such a, like, you have to pay the dude for doing something you can do so easily. You got, so I got away with it. Aces. Round two.
It seems like people are lagging a bit. Is there a way I can fix that?
I think how so?
Or Chris the host and I think Idness were lagging.
Lagging. He's waiting for you. How bad is your lag? Is it audio lag or?
Yeah, is everybody having a lag?
You having a lag?
Are you having a lag?
Round two. Is it audio lag or is it video lag?
How crunchy are these chips?
Like, as my hands clapping. Is that right? Fox isn't lagging. Okay. So round two. I had a couple more drinks. It was, as I said, till 2 a.m. Open bar. I get in there, and I'm like, all right, let's play this game again. And
I must hate you.
Yeah, and then I get to that stall, and it's locked. And I'm pretty sure there's no one in it. The stall with its own sink and its own paper towels, locked.
Genius.
And then I look at the guy. And I waddle over there, get my soap from him, get my towels, and I stare at him and I say, well played. And then I leave. So he got me. Son of a bitch.
Well, did you tap him?
Yes.
There you go.
Because I'm like fishing through my pockets, dump it in there. Well played, sir.
Pennies. See, it's a weird job because part of me is like, hey, leave the working man alone. But then it's like, this is such a weird, unnecessary job.
Yes.
That it's like, it's not me being like a total jerk to like someone working like a cash line or something. It's like some weird job that isn't necessary, that you're just there.
Yeah.
Now I have to deal
Watching
with
and waiting. So there you go.
it. Yeah.
Gabby says audio. The audio and video aren't matching up.
Oh.
Yeah. Just listen to us then. We don't look terribly
You
interesting
don't need
right
to
now.
watch us. Yeah.
You don't need to see us. Just watch us. We're not going to do any actions like
I wonder
this.
if it's yeah. I wonder if it's because I was messing around with audio in last week's show.
Oh no. I switched to mono.
Okay.
How you doing with those nachos? Because we got more topics. to
I'm
jump into.
almost done, but
So that was my holiday experience. If and this is asking if Kate is a ghost. Yes, a nacho ghost who doesn't want to be seen eating nachos on screen. I have no inhibition when it comes to eating in front of
you
people.
record this stuff. It shows up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Point being.
And then it's like a meme, and then it's just Kate eating nachos. Like, rah, 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 rah.
Really? That's what's gonna happen?
No, I'm not that popular.
If you guys have any Christmas stories of your own or holiday party stories, be sure to throw them up. We'll take a look at it. Doesn't have to be a whole story. It could just be like one funny tidbit. Or if you've ever had a run-in with a washroom attendant, throw it our way too, and we'll give it a shout.
See, I find the best way to get out of the tipping is just to be so like drunk and like, oh my god, okay.
I don't know. If,
totally left my wallet with my friend.
I don't know if that works for guys.
Sure, try it.
I'm like, oh my god.
That's how I get out of everything.
You're not gonna
oh
really.
my god, it's late. Here's the I'm so drunk.
Wait, you're talking about work
No,
now?
I don't do that
You're
at
like,
all.
here's the birds.
No, with work I stay up all night and get it done.
Yes.
Or hire people to help me get it done.
Yes. I fell and broke my wrist whilst decorating the tree.
Not
Just in
this year. Really?
I think
Now? No. That sucks. I'm sorry, Innes. That
That's
tree
rough.
better have looked amazing, though.
Yep.
Because I would be sad if I, like...
Wait, how tall was this tree? Were you up on, like, stilts or something? Like, up on a ladder?
Like a 3-story tree.
Is that like a wig? Because I got, like, a little IKEA tree that I'm taller than. And if I fell and broke something decorating that, I just wouldn't tell anybody.
You're going around with a broken wrist. You're like, no.
Yeah, and, like, what happened? I'm like...
TV dinner. Or, sorry, I'm Fish Estrella. I went to a bathroom once that also sold snacks.
Oh,
That is the best place to eat.
oh man.
I hope it was, like, just open, like, cookies on a tray.
Oh, no. No. Oh, no. Last week's is in this. Ow, rough.
Oh, no. Dang it. Well, we here at Shanahanigans Live wish you a very speedy recovery. Have
Katie
a
got
show.
Katie got storyboard tattoos, says TV dinner, so she can't be seen on camera. Non-disclosure agreement.
I
Great
am-
segue.
I am working on a very secret show, though.
Excellent segue. Well, we can go segue either into Katie's show
Oh, I'm
or
not
into
even allowed
tattoos.
to talk about it. So,
So
let's go
we'll take the
tattoos.
safe segue road. So last week or so, Escapist and other gaming outlets reported that MMA fighter, I don't remember his name, was featured in a THQ fighting game about the MMA. And you know what they like to do? They like to capture your image. Oh, really?
I just have to wash these hands.
Damn. I want your opinion on this.
Well, talk about something, Christmassy. I will be right back.
Okay, Christmassy, you say. So what do you guys want for Christmas this year? I am above such things because I'm an adult. Nah, I'm kidding. I love presents. Presents are fun when you open them and you're like, ah! And then you shake that person's hand and that's Christmas. Are you almost back?
I'm going up the stairs.
I could jam, but only for so long.
Alright. Hey, I got to do a whole solo show last week.
Yeah, but you at least
I
had
was
to
so
draw.
scared and it went really fun.
Yeah, my solo shows usually involve guests like John Lasseter.
Oh yeah.
So going back to it, so video game based on real, mixed martial arts MMA fighting, whichever league it was, and they like to get photorealistic people and stuff like that in it. They're looking good. And one fighter has a predominant tattoo across his chest.
Uh-oh.
And THQ got sued by the tattoo artist because it wasn't clear to this tattoo artist. The fact that, and this kind of issue has come up before with like Mike Tyson and stuff like that with
His
the
face
tattoo.
tattoo?
And so there's Katie.
Is he the only one that? Hi guys. Is he the only one that can have a tattoo on his face?
I don't know, but it's not about position; it's about the artwork. So the question I pose to you guys and to you is: does when you get a tattoo, Does the tattoo artist still own that tattoo?
It depends what you signed when you got the art done. Because when people commission me, it's different because when I do commission work, I don't have a super huge contract, but like, I'm hoping people aren't taking a design and making a TV show out of it.
Yes.
It's like, I made this for you for a single image. Whereas when I do work for TV shows, I've signed a contract that says they own this art, I don't own this art, they can do whatever they want with it. They can make movies, TV shows, whatever. If I want to work on this project, I just sign. And honestly, it depends on the contract. If he signed a contract that said he only owed the rights to have it on his body and not on TV, like, that's something you have to square up with the contract. Although it seems weird. It's a really weird kind of...
Well, the other half of it, too, is
it's your body,
like,
right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so... This tattoo can't have screen time, but, like, my body can have screen time. But
yeah.
It's, like, some weird...
Well, it's kind of like, it's that weird copyright zone. Like, you can get away with wearing regular clothes, but if you have a logo on it, do you get, like... Because, like, your show wasn't brought to you by Nike, but you came to the studio wearing a Nike shirt or something.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. It's really weird, because it's like...
what
yeah,
show
it'd be like
right
if you
now?
have a certain haircut, and it's like...
Like, I'm
oh,
wearing,
you can't
like,
wear that
Castle
haircut.
Crashers t-shirt.
Well, you better...
If I wore this... Now, granted, it's the difference of me wearing it on live TV versus, like, someone making a movie about me as a character and I'm wearing it. Does that cause a whole different thing? Like, the Scott Pilgrim movie, he's wearing the CBC t-shirt. That, like, people wear. People wear those old CBC kind of circle logo shirts. But they probably had to clear something, or I don't know. That's just it, you know? Flexbox saying if there's a contract saying the artist keeps it, otherwise in Canada it reverts to the commissioner.
You gotta watch that.
If your original work is not really, but if someone else's, I think, yeah. I've been commissioned. All right, we got someone saying I've been Anita. I've been commissioned for a tattoo, and I would not mind it showing up wherever it's the person's body.
Yeah, it's a really weird
because it's
thing
like
that they're being sued, because it's like it's almost like you making that design is saying that you can go around and do whatever with it.
Well, it's almost also like, say, you know, the guy's a wrestler, fighter. He's gonna have his photo taken while he's in the ring. Does that mean Sports Illustrated and stuff owe him money every time?
It just sounds like, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like he went and got it by some weird shady dude that was like, now I got this weird thing you signed. Like, now you have to pay me every time you're on TV, which is weird.
And I guess the other half is, like, logistically, what amount could he ask? Like, damages on the terms of what? Like, THQ show, like, I haven't yet debated whether he's doing the right or wrong, but, like, realistically, THQ includes fighter in their video game, and he has a tattoo, and the tattoo artist is like, damages. So realistically, though, what happened? How is he damaged? Like, let's say I'm really as dumb as I am.
Okay.
What happened that this has ruined his company,
feels
his
like he's
art?
taken advantage of, because it was like...
It's tricky, see?
It's like,
tricky.
I spent all this, because it's like that tattoo might get famous on him. Like, Mike Tyson's face tattoo is, I guess, how you know that dude.
If it's, so does he own a part of Mike Tyson's image, I guess?
Yeah, because it's like, if this tattoo you got is going to be a part of your icon, I'm the one who designed it, and you paid me, like, I don't know how much tattoos are, $800 for it? Like, maybe he wants more of that sweet wrestling pie, but it's weird. It's really weird. Is it wrestling or UH?
I kept saying MMA. UFC, I think. UFC. Because they also have action figures of these guys. And is it like the toy company, say it's Kenner or whatever.
If his
if
tattoo's showing up on
sells
toys,
the toy,
I can see someone being like, hey.
But like video games, they're like toys too in a way. So it's like, I don't know. This is tricky. Like only a few times I think have someone been sued over tattoo. Yeah. Of course, I factor in the commission, says Anita, that the image won't be exactly mine anymore. Yeah, it's tricky. Like, to say it depends on the artist, which we're all kind of agreeing on.
But the thing is you can get like a SpongeBob tattoo, and you're not going to get chased down by Nickelodeon.
Oh, really? Viacom would get you for that, probably.
I know people that, like, I went to school with a girl who had, like, a Mickey Mouse tattoo.
Yes.
And it was like, if they found out about that, would they be like, that belongs to us. That
you are now ours.
It's like, what?
I don't know.
It's weird.
It's tricky.
Yeah, it's weird.
I just thought it was interesting. So if any of you guys are like law
I just say read
people,
the contract, because it's like, if you signed it, it means you're like, yep, okay. And, I mean, obviously there's weird, stupid stuff. Like, I don't know if anybody saw that South Park episode with the human centipede, where it's like, every time you click I agree on iTunes, it's like, you don't read any of it. And so Kyle just agrees to be turned into, like, a human centipede. Like, and it's a ridiculous episode.
That's how it happened.
It's so bad, but it's like, oh, he agreed and signed to it. Like, now Mac gets to take him away, and then it's like they have to find a way to fight this with the Mac geniuses. But there's some stuff where it's like, oh, that can't be legal. Like, you trust that it's going to be normal, so it's a really weird. Yeah,
and it's asking, so do tattoo artists have to pay when they do a tattoo of a copyright image?
I don't know. It's kind of like a cover band. Like, if you're going to sing cover songs, you have to pay a certain license royalty.
Is it like if you're doing just local clubs?
Yeah.
And you're doing a cover? Like,
yeah.
I think it's one of those things, those if you get caught rules. It's like...
Yeah, but it's
and,
like...
And if the person
I don't know
gives...
if a bar wants to get in trouble for that. Like, if it's a big venue and people find out that, like, this is Bon Jovi night and you're not...
And you're using Bon Jovi to attract money.
Yeah, and then you haven't paid the license fee to do Bon Jovi night.
I would use a cold hard logic, says Flex Fox. As far as damages go, he only make money from doing the tattoo, not from someone wearing it around, so he's out of money. In fact, he's getting advertisement for, he's getting advertisement if someone tells you where it came from. He's getting
advertisement, though, that people are either like, that's a sweet tattoo, or they're like, don't go to that guy. He owns you.
I don't know, it's strange. Like, this is an interesting territory, because is it not your body? Like, when you wear earrings...
Is this not my body?
Like the red carpet is pretty much the few places where it's like, who are you wearing?
Yeah, well, that's what that's all about.
And that's all about advertising.
Yeah,
but
they're gifted.
When you wear an earring to a show, no one's like, oh, that's the earring from what's it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or are they? Unless it's a show about earrings. Speaking of earrings, your ears would be ringing if you went to this action-packed film, Skyfall.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. How was it?
It was fun. I'm also coming off of like 2 all-nighters, so it was a really nice... Okay, so thanks to everyone who tuned in on the solo show last week. It was a lot of fun. But pretty much after the solo show, I was just pulling nonstop all-nighters, just trying to get this board done. I had Andrew Murray. I don't know if he's on the show yet, but he was helping me out too. I hired him on to do some freelance content.
Oh, cool.
So he saved me in a pinch. And
undenied.
yeah, and I actually started an in-house job at a studio for a little bit. So it's like I'm finishing up one contract. I'm up till like 4 in the morning, and then I have to go to work for 9 till 6, and then go home and sleep a bit, and then finish up the rest of my freelance contract. And then this was happening for like 2 nights, and then animation's fun. Don't let me scare you away from it. But on the Tuesday, it's like everything was good, everything was handed in, and then I was like, but if I go home and go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up at 4 in the morning, and my schedule's gonna be weird. So I was like, let's go see a movie. So me and Jerry went to see Skyfall. Anyway, that big long segue over. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Thumbs up.
It was fun. It felt like definitely the new ones feel like a reboot, but also like a modern time. But they have a lot of throwbacks to like the 60s movies too. Like there was quite a few little in-jokes that were really funny. The villain was really interesting, and the opening chase sequence that they usually have in a Bond movie was really fun. Yeah. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for people because it was fun, but people talk about the cinematography in it, and I was like, oh, very interested to see what people are talking about. But the climax of the movie is beautiful. Like there's this whole, I think, 40-minute climactic action sequence that's just shot so beautifully. Like I wanted to freeze frame and just draw it. And I was looking up the guy who did the cinematography, and it's he does all the cinematography for the Coen Brothers movies. So like pretty much every Coen Brother movie is this guy setting up the shots. And it's your turn to do nachos.
Yep,
it was really good. We went to see it at IMAX, which was fun because it's the big giant screen. And what's annoying about IMAX now is that you pick your seats now, right? So it's like, we just want to get a ticket, and it's like you got to pick which 2 seats you want to even sit at. So we're like, okay, let's just go here. But then it's like the movie starts, and there's only one trailer, which is The Hobbit, which was awesome. We'll talk about that in a second. So I guess people were anticipating missing all the movies and coming in later, but because there was only one trailer, it was like people walked in 20 minutes late after the first act was
It's okay,
done.
trailers are like 20
but
minutes.
But they have picked like the top middle seats, so it's like you're in a movie, people are trying to watch it, and you're like, excuse me, like walking to the middle, like a whole group of you with your coats. Yeah. Whereas normally if you were late, you just sit at the edges. And that was actually really obnoxious, because there was like, what was Jerry saying? There was a woman standing in front of us, like, trying to decide, is this my seat? Is this my seat? It's the Hobbit trailer. And we're like, sit down. And Jerry's like, I was going to say something, but she was pregnant. I was like, sit down. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I was like, I still would have been like, sit down. You take that baby and let me enjoy my trailer. Yeah, but you were saying that we're one of the few countries that
I think North America
had you pick.
I was hearing that like we only recently started doing like you get tickets to specific seats in a theater, like very much like a sports event or a play or musical, concerts, all the likes. Like in other countries, they've had you buy tickets always. Like it was only us being like, hey, sit wherever the hell you want, you know, which makes it trickier for group events because you always have like 1 or 2 seats left open because no one wants to sit beside a stranger.
But that's the fun part because everybody knows in a group there's people you like better than other people, so it's you seeing them all pair.
That's the thing, you get to see
that
like
one person that's
who's the cool people in your group and who's
who's always going to get invited to have a seat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I hate it, but so there's a benefit to
Lord
having.
of the Flies.
Yeah, funny. I mentioned that today too.
Oh.
There's a benefit of having like you order your seats at the theater because then like when a big movie like the Avengers is coming out, you guys can pre-book and know you're all going to be like, you know, either in a straight row or at least grouped in like front of each other or something like that. What's going on?
Fish Estrella says, my brother's a tattoo artist and you're right on the dot. Shaggy is really, Shaggy, it's really only a problem if you get caught.
Yes.
Okay. And Gabby wants to know what Jerry looks like. He's very handsome.
It looks like he's
not
downstairs.
coming
That's what it looks like. Looks like he's having some nachos.
He wears a hat and he's very cute.
What were we talking about?
Movie theaters.
Yes. So, you know...
You're saying, like, we'd watch animes and people would be like, oh,
Yeah.
I got us 2 tickets to the movies.
Well, yeah,
we're like, what is this, some play?
Yeah, either it'd be like Meizani Goku or Video Girl I, and it's like, I got 2 tickets. I'm like, just go day of, buddy. Let's not be let's not look too desperate to get a girl on a date. Trying to impress her with your punctuality. Being
so
like,
punctual.
I've reserved some seats and drew them on a piece of paper. It's like, no, it's...
Well, it's like when I used to have no idea what to get a friend for their birthday, so I get them, like, I owe you a movie! And then, like, it was right at the end of high school, and then you never see each other again. But I'm fully anticipating...
They're gonna cash that in someday.
There's gonna be some weird moment where it's like, I'm old and 80, and she's gonna, like, roll up in this motorcycle, like, I still got this!
With interest.
I want to
It's
see
like,
a movie in Arizona! We gotta go right to
Really
Arizona.
rough.
I want to go on Old Lady Adventures. I think that'd be so fun.
But yeah, it only really started here with the Ultra AVX, which is not IMAX, it's just other big. and you had to actually literally pick your seats.
They don't do the like whole intro with the do.
They don't, yeah.
Because I'm like, they don't do that before a Bond movie. We're like, yeah.
Yeah, they used to do. I don't know if you guys had the same IMAX experience we did here. But
Well, it's because it's Canadian, right? So it's like the super pride of like...
they could have had... we literally had a laser show before every IMAX movie.
Amazing.
And there's like 2 versions to it. The Mississauga one was a little different from Toronto. But it's basically like do, and they're like basically showing off the theater. Because we were, at the time, we were blown away by this concept of a giant screen.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, the screen would actually like disappear and it's like, there's actually speakers behind here. And so let's listen to them. And then this arrow shows up and it's guy going and here whoa whoa whoa.
So good.
Obnoxious laser show.
So 80s.
No matter what movie you're going to see, you have to go through this experience. But I guess they kind of settled down now that people are not amazed by movies anymore.
Yeah, you need something a lot more crazy. I was thinking though, like when we were watching the movie, it still felt huge when they do that countdown and all those numbers fly at you. Remember when we went to see the new Star Trek at the Omnimax?
Oh my God!
So it's like an IMAX, but like
no, it's. Have you ever been to like
a
science center? It's usually around like a science center or something. It's like a giant ball.
It's where you'd usually go see, you know,
space,
the river, some like Grand Canyon, and you're flying.
Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, it's not normally where you see like 2 actors with their faces.
Yeah,
like...
no, well, because it was the Abrams Star Trek, and like the space battles are like, there's a ship. Good Lord, it's all over. I'm in the battle.
Because you're looking at Enterprise, and then you're like, woo, oh God, there's the Romulans.
Yeah.
And here's something I've just discovered that I didn't know. It's Kirk's dad is Thor, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that before.
Yeah, that's him.
I like him.
But the point is, like, this big screen would be awesome for space battles, but then when it comes to, like, 2 people talking to each other in Abrams close-ups, you're, like, basically in Chris Pine's nose.
Yeah, we're, like,
just like, ah! You know, because they're, like, right there.
Especially when he's all, like, beaten up when you first see him. He's got that bloody lip. It's, like,
yeah,
so
it's
big.
in your face.
It takes up, like,
blah.
a whole meter of the screen.
You can, like, hug it if you reach your arms out.
But then it's like you're trying to even read someone's facial expressions. You're like, there's one eye, there's the other eye. Like, when you literally are watching him ride his motorcycle across the whole screen.
Yeah.
It was quite an experience. It's a little discombobulating because there's a lot of moving around. Segue! So, Next Gen is now on Netflix, the Canadian Netflix.
Oh,
Next Generation.
okay, Star Trek.
And, that's what I was watching while I was getting my deadlines done. Oh, it's so campy. I love it. So good. What's happening?
The dad was from the other ship. What?
What?
I don't know. I'm confused. Star Trek, yeah. So
Star Trek.
You're watching the new. Well, not the new, but like, because we never. I remember as kids, we used to watch Star Trek Next Gen, like at dinner. It was a family thing.
We'd have the little fold-out tables, and then we.
I don't know if it was every night or like on Thursdays or something.
Yeah, Thursdays. I do remember.
I just made up a date.
It was Thursdays.
And it was a family deal where it was like we all had to sit around and watch Star Trek. Oh, I say had to. Not like it was a bad thing. It was like it was our event where we sit up at the dinner table and we watch the spaceships and stuff. Because I guess like to a degree, a lot of people argue like these type of shows are still designed as the family. Like Kirk or Picard is the dad. And these guys, because you break down the family structure. Like if you watch Futurama, it's a family sitcom, right?
Yeah. It's
like Leela's the mom character. It's that kind of weird thing where like everything is, there's still a family dynamic to everything. Like when you have authority figures and like
Leela's like the young mom that nobody listens
to. But it's that kind.
She feels more like the babysitter. That's like, come on, guys, and it's like.
But it's that kind of thing where like you can break down most shows and like figure out what the family dynamic is in a way, and that's like why people identify with shows that aren't even about families per se.
Yeah, because you recognize your rules.
Yeah, you recognize who's what position. Who knows best and all that stuff like that. But yeah, so like, but I don't really remember much from Star Trek, regardless of the fact that we still watch all the time. Like, I have friends who are like way into it and can like quote episodes and stuff, and I'm just like, really, that happened? I don't remember anything.
So goofy.
Yeah, I don't remember anything from Next Gen. Oh well, we all watch it now. It's on Canadian Netflix.
Yeah, you should get on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite delightful.
I should probably finish Firefly first.
That's like only 12 episodes.
I know. I'm halfway done. I've been busy. Are you drawing something right now, or is it work?
I'm drawing, actually. I just need a little bit of downtime. There was a girl I saw today waiting for the bus, and she looked amazing, so I'm drawing her.
Really? What do you mean by amazing? Like she was dressed up?
She had this wicked ice blue hair, and she just looked really cool, so I just had this mental image of her that I wanted to do.
Okay, preserve. Speaking of mental image, segue.
Oh.
Who enjoys Hawkeye?
I love it.
Alright, so, for the past many bunch of years, i.e. forever in comics, women have been drawn in poses that, well, they're poses.
Tumblr, I love when people do, first there's the people that do the poses anatomically correct, where they're like, this is what this would look like.
There's
like,
one,
oh, you're learning a lesson.
There's one Tumblr, the logo is like that Amy from Sonic the Hedgehog. It's called something girls or whatever. Mm-hmm. And basically what this person does is they will break down why the anatomy doesn't work in all these, comic covers and panels and spreads. And people are kind of like, when you look at them, one of the greatest ones was, I don't even know what's from. There's a girl wearing red, and she has like the red mask, and she's like flying, but her whole stomach is missing.
Yeah.
And it's like she has these legs that are just sticking out of her breasts, basically. and then people take these and animate them to show why they're wrong, and you have these like little nubby legs like flapping around.
So funny.
So there's a big push for like people analyzing. I think Escher Girls. I can't pronounce it right. Escher Girls from Crystal. Thank you very much. I love it. It's hilarious. One of the recent ones was amazing with the Catwoman up on the roof, and her like ass is just raised up and behind.
Oh, is that the one where
But then Batman keeps popping in, and she like blocks him, and he pops over here, and she blocks it.
Yeah, like, I told her where he like pops up, and then
Batman's trying to like show up. It's like block. Great stuff. And then this issue's been going on for a while, and it's all tied to a lot of what's been going on with like the video game representation of women and stuff like that, and it's a constant thing. But the latest kind of big push is due to the actor who plays Hawkeye from the Avengers. There's some photos of him being like having these kind of like little like saucy poses, I guess. Like he's on set like woo kind of thing, playing it up. And people kind of took that, if this is the origin story, and made a new Tumblr called the Hawkeye Initiative, where when you see a cover or artwork or pose of a female character in comics that just looks ridiculous, as much as any of the Escher girl poses, you yourself swap that out with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And
see, I didn't know this was a whole initiative, but I like for a while I'd seen people on Tumblr like,
yes,
this pose is ridiculous. How ridiculous is it if we take all the guy superheroes? Because I've seen that with the Avengers.
That's happened before.
Where it's like them all doing the like boobs and butt on the same plane.
Yeah,
but now it seems like it's a whole like, let's take our love of Hawkeye and just play with them in all these crazy poses.
Yeah, like things that things like this have happened before. Where people are like, well, if I draw a guy doing that, and it's like, oh, that looks ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I've seen visuals of it too, where it's like the thing where it's like, this is how a girl wears a guy's shirt, and she's got it like she's pretty much wearing it like this little tiny dress, and then it's this whole thing of all these guys like, oh, that's how you wear a shirt, and they're all dressed like that, or like those pinups where you see like men doing the same weird poses that girls are put in. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it is pretty ridiculous.
So like, but like my point is, it's like, so the examples of this have happened before, but never with such focus that it's now like all Hawkeye though.
Yeah.
So and a lot of them are like very simply drawn with the little like octopus lips, the little like kind of thing.
Because the one I saw was like that doll of Mary Jane like washing something. Yeah, she's got her butt in the air and like I don't know.
Washing the Spider-Man outfit or pulling out of a bucket.
And then they take Hawkeye doing that, but there's like this animated where he's kind of just shaking his butt a little bit.
Yeah, he's just like rumbling around.
And I just think it's really like it's you know, looking at it, and I've been kind of off the internet for a bit, so I kind of knew this was happening a little bit, but I didn't know too much about it. But I was like, yeah, you know, it's making fun of just how silly.
Yeah.
The whole like guys draw girl characters. Now the thing this morning before I went to work, I was seeing
controversy.
People retaliating too. It seems like there's a lot of, and this feels to me like very
controversy.
Young boys, I think, are getting kind of upset at this.
Because they have feelings they don't understand,
and they're like, "Why are you picking on Hawkeye?" And like, like picking.
I think the movie already did that for him, but all right.
But it's like that.
That's their problem. Leave Hawkeye alone.
And then like I don't remember who started it. Like I think Ginger Hayes on Tumblr is the one who
started the retaliation or started the initiative.
Started the initiative. I think she's the one who runs it. But I've been seeing just kind of like responding to Anonymous and things like that, where it's like people are like, well, we're starting like another Tumblr to make fun of you and all this stuff.
So now we're gonna put sexy girls in awkward poses.
But it's like now they're attacking them, but it's like we're kind of playfully making fun of how ridiculous covers and art and things are, and the way guys draw women is just insane. And we're showing you how silly this pose is when you take it and.
Well, because the big argument, like I've been reading a bunch of it, reading people's comics about it, and one of the comics, a part of that. Tumblr, I forget who created it. Really nice art though, and it's like the guy being like, "I'm tired of all you women and saying that all the poses are sexist and stuff like that." And she's like, "Well, okay, let me give it." And he's like, one of the biggest arguments for guys is like men are drawn sexually too because they're all muscles and stuff.
Yeah, the guys are meant to be like heroic, so it's like they're looking strong, but the women are drawn to be sexy. So it's like, because I mean, there's been really great drawings of women superheroes where it's like they're also very mighty, but then there's the ones where it's like for some reason you can see her butt and her like.
Everything.
Front and her boobs.
All in one glorious shot.
And my favorite is that Catwoman one where it's like people have pretty much redrawn her like a lima bean.
Yeah, it's the... I
mean, Google Catwoman cover.
She's squished in.
Yeah.
And she has no waist, so she's squashed in, so her ass is up, and her chest is here.
It's
and her...
so
that was one of the first big ones recently that kicked off a lot of the... But the point of the comic was saying, like, what men consider to be like, well, we're also drawn sexy too, and the female character in the comic is like, when you guys have muscles and stuff, that's a power fantasy. Having women pose like this is not a power fantasy. And she's like, let me give you an example. And she draws like, if I were to draw Batman the way I want him, he'd have to be leaner, you know, because I don't want like all muscles.
Oh yeah.
And I like to see his eyes and stuff like that. And then she shows a drawing, and it's like this Batman. It's not shoujo, but it's like this. Not effeminate per se, but it's like this slim with these kind of lips and these big eyes. And the guy's like, I feel like comfortable about this. And she's like, welcome to my everyday or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting comic. But
Ginger Hayes is super funny.
But the main point that what this all comes to is basically the male retaliation is basically usually saying guys are objectified too, but is muscular and giant, and you've probably all seen the Captain America with the huge muscles sticking out. And you're just like,
that is funny.
What?
That is funny. But the thing is, it's like, you know, guys don't look at, you know, the way men are drawn superheroes and go like like girls do when they see.
Well, because the guys, I think one of the better versions of this Hawkeye thing is when there's a guy and a girl character and they swap it, as opposed to there just being a girl. Because like there'll be a cover with Hawkeye and Black Widow, and Hawkeye's like just doing something like this, and Black Widow's doing this upside down twisty thing, and then they swap it and give him the lips, so he's like, and then you get to see how tame her pose is now, where it's really nothing, just jumping, and he's all like twisted all over the place, and you're like,
to me is
what?
Like it's I think it's just this kind of, you know, it's not a very, you're looking at something that's kind of, you know, you feel a little bit awkward about, but it's not meant to be like a, now down with guys. It's like you're having fun with it. No. So it's strange that people are reacting so angrily. But I think what it is because it's like at a certain point, it's like it's making fun of. I guess they feel like it's an attack on masculinity, and so that's what a certain group of people are getting upset about, which is unfortunate because it's like relax, pull back, and look at the bigger picture of this. But it's like if you're, I don't know, it's that kind of mindset where it's like the worst thing you can call a boy is gay. Where it's like, you're gay. That's that kind of where that's coming from.
It's like I'm not, you're gay, and it's like that's even worse because you
by
do
feminizing
it back,
him. It's like, whoa, I like this character, and you're totally like picking on him, and it's like, well, it's.
That's almost like just segue. Where I almost feel like
it's kind of like when Starfire came out and people were like, "What the hell are you doing to Starfire?"
And you're ruining
Harley Quinn. It's like these are characters that I really like,
and you're kind of you're over sexualizing it.
But I mean, whereas that didn't feel fun or playful.
There's so many segues I can go on. I'm trying to think which branch to go on. But one of the questions I guess is, if men with like muscles and stuff is the power fantasy, how would you sexualize a guy in a comic? Like, would he wouldn't be strewn about like the girls are in these covers. What is the male version of Starfire being like, ugh? Is it just him like with his thumb in his Speedo?
It's weird because I was talking to Heather about this, and it's kind of like just how crazy popular Yaoi is, and it's like, it's interesting.
Is that the example? Is that the female equivalent of sexualizing a guy?
Where you make
sorry, I'm wording that wrong. That's not like totally a female artist's example of making a guy appealing to women versus.
It depends on different tastes though, because some women like a more super masculine dude, some women like more. Gentle kind of.
Yeah. Well, that was the Batman example where he's like bright eye, nice lips, gentle, and it's like, oh. So it's kind of weird that like what's the difference between what would the power stance for a female be and the sexualization of a male be in a comic?
What it is it comes down to variety though. Yeah. It's you want
because there's too much of the same.
Someone contacted me on Twitter and a bunch of people asking like what would make a good girl show, like what would make a good series aimed at girls, and one of the people responded like, well, what makes a good series aimed at guys? And it's like essentially you need a good story, like interesting characters.
Story's king.
My thing is have at least one female character in it that's not the girlfriend or the love interest of the main guy, because it's like I worked on shows where it's like, oh, this girl's scrappy, but she's so in love with the main character who I think is an idiot. But
well, that was the big thing.
It's like just having a variety. You can have. And this is what I liked about the James Bond movies, where it was like, I really like Judi Dench playing M, because it's like you've got this really strong, powerful, kind of cold character, but then you also have the really cute, sexy Bond girl. So it's like when you have that contrast, it doesn't feel like girls are always
at least you have the variety. You have both perspectives.
You can have that. It's like when we're saying, we're not saying don't ever do this ever. I don't ever want to see a sexy woman, because I like sexy women too. I love looking at cute cheesecake stuff as long as it's not anatomically weird. Makes no sense.
As long as it's not Psylocke with her leg out, like tick 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 tick, bouncing across the screen like.
Like I like a sexy pose. We're not saying don't ever draw sexy. I think we want variety.
This is the big deal. I feel
kind of weird.
The two kind of concerns that the big retaliations on the male side is, one of them is it sounds like all these attacks are saying you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's the one. And the second one is, I think guys, I don't want to generalize, but unfortunately you have to in these cases, so bear with me. Kind of don't understand to what length because one of the big arguments is like, oh, well, you don't like sexy in comic, but you still wear makeup. And it's like, that's
the thing too. It's like the different ways of wearing makeup. Or some people are like,
it's like, I'm not wearing it for you. I like having it's as much as you like wearing a particular sweater or a hat. It's not the makeup though, like predominantly a female thing to do. It's like it's not for someone else to wear makeup. It's like it's for you.
Glenn.
What's Glenn saying now?
You were talking about like an over-sexualized male character. He says maybe it would look like the cover of a romance novel.
Well, that's the question. Would it be Batman holding Catwoman like this and his hair is flowing out?
And Batman's shirtless too.
Yeah, or he's shirtless, and because we love talking about this picture, but from the Catwoman Zero, the rooftop awkward nature of dead corpse Batman being mounted by Catwoman, the alternative would be the gallant Batman, like holding her in one arm, and that
was the most like weird sex scene.
Oh god,
ever.
It was awkward.
It was like all the tension. It was just kind of like this weird like ugh.
But like going back to that, what was I saying before the Glenn? Damn it, where was I?
You're saying a certain kind of guy doesn't understand.
I guess like guys, Well, I was talking about
again,
like makeup.
We're not talking
it's
about
like
everybody, but
yeah,
you know what?
it was basically saying like
I hear this too from certain points of views where it's like it's not like some women will say I don't wear makeup because I don't want to appease to guys, and then it's like, well, I don't wear this, and I mean not like saying that this is a woman thing. Like people will say I don't want to wear makeup because I don't want to appease everyone else, and it's like, but I'm wearing it because I want to wear it. I'm wearing it for me. I'm not wearing it for anyone else.
That's what's getting at.
I wear my hair a certain way for myself. I dress a certain way for myself. The movies I watch, the books I read, it's for myself. It's not for you. And so it's like, sometimes people will comment on that, and it's like what
I think the idea is certain guys can't comprehend that girls like to be sexy for the sake of being sexy, not for attracting other people.
Yeah.
And because that's their narrow view is, you're wearing makeup to get men to like you. It's like, no,
and that's where it becomes
idiot.
That Tony Harris thing again. Tony Harris, that comic artist we were kind of brushing on briefly about that giant Facebook post.
Were we brushing on
We were talking about it a little bit.
Not on the show. Maybe.
Weeks back. But except we didn't have all the information, so we were just kind of talking about whatever. And I don't know if you've heard about it much recently.
And this added on a horse for the romance.
Oh yeah, on a horse.
So Batman on a horse, no shirt, long hair. Okay.
What else are we doing? Giving her a shoulder massage.
He's also like cutting a tree with an axe.
Yeah. He's also already done the grocery shopping. The house is clean.
So the hair. Catwoman comes home. He's like, "Oh, the dishes are already done. Would you like to watch Game of Thrones?"
That's amazing.
It's like, yeah, that's the
woman.
I call a superhero. That's the woman nerd sexy fantasy right there.
He's like Game of Thrones or Doctor Who. Like,
oh my god.
And then he's like, when we go to that convention, I'll totally cosplay with you.
Yeah. Whatever you want to be. So I'll be your, Prince Bubblegum or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, just briefly touching on that Tony Harris thing where it was like this is
going back to the fake nerd girl thing,
and
which this is all gradually going to
was about girls dressing up a certain way, trying to attract and steal the poor geek boy. Like, we're here just to show you that we're hot, but you think we want you and we don't want you. You can't have us.
It was a theory that this is going back to one of the crux of these arguments, be it the video game sexism, the comic poses, and then the fake geek girls. It's kind of the trifecta right now of nerd sexism culture that's being addressed very openly, and some people are really hating the conversation, some people are really participating.
Yeah.
This one is saying, we talked about it like 2 weeks ago, there's supposedly women out there who are attractive, and they dress up as comic characters solely to get your attention, and thus they are evil, and
really, this is kind of, and Jerry was saying this too, like, this is the kind of rant where it'd be like, well, that's kind of dumb, why would you pay attention to it? But the thing is it's like, it's out there on the internet, a lot of times girls do feel like they're getting picked on because of their gender. When you're playing video games, like the attacks you get on forums based on... It's not about the content of your work, it's about like what you look like and things like that.
Or the other thing is when you go to a comic shop, you're usually asked, are you buying this for your boyfriend? Or, the thing about the Green Lantern, and they start telling you everything about it that you already know because they assume you don't know anything about it kind of thing.
And I mean, as long as people aren't jerks about it, like if they want to be interested, like want to tell you about something, I mean, it's weird to assume in this day and age anyway. Where was I going with that?
Him saying boo to fake
I mean, it's something that
girls.
you're like, boo, that kind of sucks. But what I find interesting is that, people are retaliating to it, and I think you should. Because, I mean, he put it out there somewhere where everybody would see it, so it's like, You're making
a statement saying this should not happen in our community. Like, regardless if you're just a guy, you are making a stand saying, I don't like these people, they are not allowed to be in our club, is basically what he's saying.
You're kind of making this, like, level of nerdiness, which isn't fair, because it's just making... we're there to enjoy stuff. It doesn't matter what level you enjoy something at. You shouldn't be told that you're not allowed to enjoy it.
One of the defenses was people being like, oh, you only got into the Avengers because of the movies. And it's like,
that's
good!
Fine.
At least there was a gateway to get into the Avengers. Now you have more people to talk about the Avengers with.
Yeah.
And it's as opposed to a nurturing culture, it's more of a hostile, defensive culture, being like, you're not a true fan. Yeah. You only got in because other people like it. And, alright, this is the worst of the worst that's really kind of annoying me. A lot of the big defenses on this whole thing about, girls wanting to be geeks, like, you can be, whatever. But, like, girls wanting to be geeks from this opinion, and people being like, oh, well, guys were, hated for being geeks back then, and now because it's popular, girls want to do it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you were saying, now that being a geek is cool, girls want to do it, and you're like, you shouldn't because we were criticized for it when we were younger. I'm like, first of all, this person wanting to be a geek, wanting to be into Doctor Who, had nothing to do with that in the past.
It has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, like these are people in the past like, oh, girls would be like, oh, you like Pokemon? But like that wasn't that girl. She wanted Pokemon, and you should be more supportive of her, not like hating the fact that she wants to get into it.
Yeah.
Because other girls may have snubbed you because of it.
And those are completely different people. Like, it's unfair. It's like you should take how you were treated badly and try and treat people better because of it.
And
yeah, I know it sucks.
Because my big thing is like all these nerds, like I don't want to generalize, but the ones who are being haters, like they think themselves to be the X-Men, but they're really being the guys rounding up the X-Men, being like, we have to register mutants. They're that Stryker asshole who want mutant registration. They're like, you got to prove you're a good geek, a true geek. You got to tell me, you know, you didn't see the movies, you read the comics. I'm like, why are you being the dicks in this scenario?
Yeah.
Like your comic characters fight against you.
Now, the thing that gets really complex about this too, and it's where it starts spiraling into this big old thing, is I don't know if people follow like Albin Wonderland on the internet. She does a lot of like really great, just empowering YouTube videos for young girls, and she did one about this where she got very heated and was pretty much talking to that person. Yeah. Not all guys in general.
Now, once again,
that person.
This isn't saying all guys. They're saying
all guys.
This is
it's
to the people who do this.
Sort of, and it's pretty much guys. I mean, it might be a couple girls because girls can be some girls can be really jerks to like their like other girls for whatever reason, and that's really sad too. But you know, we're assuming mostly it's a male group that is very vocal on the internet and like who is supporting Tony Harris's point of view and just very down on geek girls. So she had a internet video about it addressing this, and like throughout it she was like, this is not to say that this is the same for like all you great guys who support us. This is a certain kind of person.
Wait, is this the girl with the pink hair?
With the pink hair.
Yeah, I watched that.
So our little sister posted on Facebook, and I was like, oh, awesome. Like,
shit, that got heated.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Like, I like.
I'm gonna have to take my sweater off for this.
Yeah, but like one of our sister's friends commented like, oh, so she comes back with sexism against guys. Like, this is what I hate about feminism, and I was just like, whoa, what are you? And it's like as soon as she starts. And it was like, I didn't want to say anything because I was like, I want to stay off of her Facebook page, not argue. I don't want to argue with a teenage boy, but I'm just like...
Arguing with a teenage boy gets you nowhere. She started
talking to a certain kind of person, and you took it personally. And then, like, we couldn't make him not see it, where he was like, now she's just totally being sexist against boys, and this is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm like, no, she's talking about a certain problem, and I don't know why you think that she's attacking all guys. She's attacking a certain kind of person because of something. Just, and like, you know, like Jerry was saying, too, he's like, well, why would you even... bring it up because it's like that guy was stupid, like not the kid, but like the Tony Harris guy. It's like it was a stupid comment, you should just ignore it. But I'm like, the thing is it's like people are either complacent or aggressive a lot of the times, and it's like you need to kind of fight back against it because you can be like, that's stupid, I'm not going to talk about it, but then it's like some girl sees all this on the internet and there's no one fighting it, and she's like, oh, I guess that's just the way it is. But it's like you interpret quietness to be acceptance. Or it's like if I think someone's being an idiot, I'll walk away from them usually. Like I won't get into an argument because I'm like, what's the point? I'm not going to change your mind, and you're just making my day worse. But it's like sometimes you have to say something, especially if it's a public forum, because now it's like this opinion sitting there and no one's fighting it because they're like, well, that's stupid. But it's like, well, now you gotta fight it. But now, like, Albin Wonderland's getting attacked by a lot of people who are calling her, like, what is it?
It's not misogynist,
but it's, like, reverse sexism?
No, never use the term reverse sexism.
Weird.
There's one thing, I'll go on this later, but one thing I hate.
Weird.
I hate the term reverse, because that indicates only one side is capable of an action.
Well, they're accusing her of sexism.
Yeah.
But, so I mean, it's I say reverse just because, like, sexism was originally brought up guys on girls.
I know. I just hate that term because it's just so, like, we own sexism. It's not yours. So, like, we have reverse sexism now. It's like, no, it's all... It gets really tricky. Like, the history, I'm not going to lie, it is a one-sided history. The point I want to bring up to all this... crap, I had it. I was writing it down. Okay. This goes to when people get defensive against, like, my nerd culture being, you know, infiltrated and all these fake... It's like, whenever you make any video, like, go to Anita... Oh, God. The whole video game thing, Sarkazy.
Oh, yeah.
Going to this person here, I forgot her name, sorry. It was the pink hair.
Oh, Albin Wonderland?
Her, whenever she says, like, she talks about guys...
Or ALB in Wonderland.
ALB. And
Angelina. Her name's Angelina.
No matter what she could say, she'll always be accused of generalizing and saying all guys are doing it. Because consider the following, like the point I started writing as soon as I watched the video, just like putting down notes on my thoughts.
Because I was like, I didn't want to respond to that guy's comment, but I was like,
I didn't. I held back from responding.
But like I wrote to her like, yeah, I'm getting into an argument with some teenager, but I think you're great.
but like the point is, anything she would say sounds like generalizing. I'll give you guys a little test right here to see what you think. So, what is the more baffling or offensive phrase for her to say? A, all guys are against geek girls. Most guys are against geek girls. Some guys are against geek girls. Few guys are against geek girls. Or 12.73% of guys are against geek girls.
You're saying what's the most offensive?
Well, what's the most baffling comment? Because none of those she could ever really say. Because if she said 12.73% of guys, that information doesn't exist. You can't be precise. So she has to generalize. But she's not allowed to generalize because then she's generalizing.
And then
so you cannot win when you're trying to point out something that's like an error in a community. Because not anything you say will be a generalization, unfortunately.
To me, it does feel like it's kind of like, you know, when womanthology came out, it was like, yeah, you know, womanthology, and then some people were bashing it because it was only
only.
No, yeah, because it was only supporting one kind of. They didn't say minority; they said one kind of. I guess minority or something. In the industry, one kind of person, and then Jean, our friend. Who's like, I think her family's Korean, and she's like a woman, and she's like, well, then I must be a unicorn, because I'm only one kind of minority here.
I must be a unicorn. Yeah, we have that. We have that recorded on our Chicago, which was C2E2.
C2E2 talk.
We did a C2E2
it was like,
podcast.
you try to do something good, and people will attack you for not doing enough. So you can't.
Because the argument was, well, if it's women, it goes to the idea of charity. It's like, well, if you're giving money to people in Africa, why don't you give money to AIDS research too, or give money to wheelchairs, or give money to this? And it's like you're never doing enough.
Laura Innes runs the she runs like a comic run charity every Christmas that we all work to support, where we draw our own characters, and you can donate and get the wallpaper, and it goes to saving kids from it goes to set up rehabilitation for sexual slavery for children, and it's like, you know, right, that you're doing this, and people are like, well, why aren't you doing this for these people?
Why isn't it for the rainforest too? Why isn't it for inner city kids? Why isn't it for this? Like, people will criticize the charity for not doing enough, and it's like, our focus was this. Womanthology, the focus was this. It's like, this is what we intend to cover, and you get criticized for it, and it's like this unfortunate position.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, Angelina is talking about the specific case is what she wants to talk about, but then people are like, well, you know, you're not the only one getting attacked, and it's like, but that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about this very specific thing, and you know, we could have a discussion all the time, but the problem with the internet is it's not a discussion all the time. It's like, here's my statement, and then
come at me, bro.
It's like, if you could all sit around, people could interject, people could talk, and then a lot of times it doesn't happen.
One of my major points of it all is it's so unfortunate that people are not willing, I don't want to say capable, but not willing to see another point of view. And this goes both ways. For a person, so let's say from the guy, these dickhead guy perspectives, when they're like, you know, oh, well, guys are whatever too, it's like, they won't take the time to listen to what the female, audience is saying.
Well, it's like, I feel like as soon as her video started,
the subject matter is all that mattered. It was just, you know, oh, the women are, you know, portrayed poorly in comics, and here are my reasons why. They will only hear the headline and be like, well, fuck you for hating on my passion.
Well, yeah, you were saying like that gamer...
yes,
Anita?
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, where she was talking about maybe the way certain female characters are portrayed or trouble.
And the thing is, I was curious, because I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing your points first, but the problem is, when you address something to a community that's passionate, they use that passion to defend themselves, and if you say something's wrong with what you're into, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
that's
you're
what
not saying it's
they're
what you're
hearing.
Into, it's what there's something wrong with me for liking this.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, and it's like that's...
Then you get defensive.
Yeah, because it's something you enjoy. It's like someone... It's like anytime someone says they don't like a movie, and you get a little bit alright, you know, where I'm like, oh, I love this movie. It's like, oh, that sucked. But they're not saying you suck for liking it.
But you liking it means there's something in you that you see and enjoy about it, and they don't like that about you inversely.
I think that's something that comes with maturity, where it's like you don't take offense so much, and you get
Anita Sarkeesian. Sorry, we've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Oh, Sarkeesian. I thought there was a C there.
Yes.
Okay.
We've been reading it wrong this whole time.
Innes has to go. Bye, Innes.
If we missed you, sorry, Innes.
Yeah, as we're getting all...
I'm getting heated. Jeez, I'm getting... Because the truth of the matter is people are just really passionate, and, regardless of if they want it to be a boys club or if they want to have sexy characters in comics, if you said anything bad about comics, they are going to be defensive about it to the nines. They are going to fight you on it, and it's unfortunate because this is something that really should be addressed, and the problem is, the longer it's taken to be addressed, it's like the news. If you hear about a tragedy, it's like, oh, there was a tsunami. It's like for the first week, you're like, oh my god. But when you still hear about it, you're like, oh, is this still going on? Yes, it is. Yeah. When that happened in Japan, like the earthquakes,
long time.
There's still shit going on with it right now, but it's not newsworthy. And so when people are like, comics are still sexist, people don't want to hear it anymore because, like, we dealt with that. It's over.
Done.
It's like, no, the reason we're talking about it is it hasn't been dealt with yet.
Yeah.
Hence, the Hawkeye Initiative.
Yeah. Which is there to be
We're beginning to deal with it with the Hawkeye.
Yeah. Thing is, though, it's like, we're in a good age where it's like, you know, there's so many other things you can read as well. Like, there's so much variety in comic work and everything that, you know, you don't need to feel totally overwhelmed by just this one thing that doesn't feel like it represents you. I wanted to talk about this too. I forget what it's called. There's a video. I think it's Gina Davis started it, and the one of the animators from Batman Piderman. Batman. She animated it, and it's kind of the same thing where it's trying to bring awareness to making movies where girls will recognize themselves.
Was that done by her? There's a girl's name. I am Jen, or I am.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's about a. Damn, what was her name?
Gina.
Sorry, this doesn't represent any inefficiency on her campaign. It's just I have a bad memory of names. Just want to put that out there. Lindsay Small is the name of the creator?
Lindsay Small.
Or Small.
It's called where? Actually, maybe I'll just Google.
Or if one of you guys know what we're talking about, throw it our way quick, and then that'll.
They can't post links.
Well, not the link, but like what the thing is.
Okay, I can probably find it on our Tumblr.
Batman.
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 I
haven't watched nearly enough of that, I think it was all combined into one video on YouTube. I mean to watch that at some point.
Where is it? Finding it.
There's something else you brushed on that I wanted to talk about, and I almost had it again, and I'm losing it.
I would say check out. I'm slowly talking about things. Oh god, Jane. It's
Jane.
Meet Jane.
Meet Jane, right?
It's a very cute PSA.
Or see Jane. Meet Jane.
Yeah, but essentially it's and I mean, this is, you know, it's like, oh, are they talking about that again? But it's like when I go see a movie and I don't see myself represented at all in any movie, I'm like...
They have to, because it's still true. And this goes on to that whole mentality of like, is it over with already? We've been hearing about it so long. It's like, well, we're going to keep hearing about it until something gets done.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, independent work gives you a chance to approach that. It's just unfortunate that it's like the big megalomaniac... What? The big companies, like, you know, the big... like DC, Hollywood, like a lot of those things. They are catering to a certain clientele, which isn't, like, someone was saying that it's like the clientele they try to focus on is males 16 to 30 or something, but it's like that's not even the biggest
audience.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something that people were describing where it's like they're catering to a certain group of people that it's like, well, why not more? Like,
there's a notion I was thinking about, like, when it comes to, like, is there onus on DC, Marvel, because they're the biggest, that they have to try to have a broad audience? Like, if DC just came down today and said, guess what, everyone? We don't care about the female audience. We're going to keep drawing it this way. Would we fault them on that to be like, well, you guys, you have to have something for the whole audience?
Are, like, with some things. Some things. And I mean, because I mean, the new, like, I haven't... I see, this is someone's like, you have no right to have an opinion because you're not following all of New 52, and I'm like, all right.
I've seen enough to know.
That's fair. I am admittedly only seeing a very...
snippets.
I am seeing the stuff that gets pushed to the top, so...
Catwoman flying backwards out a window with her bras.
I'm seeing that, but I'm seeing, like, Batwoman's New 52, right? Like, I'm seeing those.
Yes, well, I actually brought that back for you, too.
I know Gail Simone is writing the Batgirl comics, I believe, and I hear very good things about those. I think she's one of the very few, if not the only lady comic writer at DC, maybe?
Wait, what about Power Girl? Who?
She's artist, Amanda Connor.
Okay, man.
Yeah,
because I sent you that link from The Escapist.
But see, that's the thing too that becomes weird, where it's like I drew a Power Girl fan art once, and people on DeviantArt were like, "Katie Shai expected better from you for drawing this.
What?
And I'm like...
But once again, this goes to you're allowed to enjoy sexy for your sake, not for anyone else.
But then it's like you're
I
not
think
allowed to
Power
have an
Girl's
opinion
kind
about
of
this.
silly.
But I'm like, I'm doing it kind of silly because it's like, yo...
Like, just because you
so
are
weird,
against
though,
the
yeah.
overabundance, but you can enjoy instances of stuff. But when it's all there, when it feels like it's all there is,
Yeah.
this is the concept that I'm not generalizing, these asshole dickhead guys can't seem to comprehend that for
Your brain structures.
All right, this is the final big point. Not to end this conversation, but one of my final big points is guys can only know what they know. Mm-hmm. When I go to a comic shop, I know what it's like to be a male in a comic shop. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to be a male who sometimes has a beard in a comic shop. I know what it means to be a white male who sometimes wears long coats in a comic shop. I sometimes get looks from people being like, is he going to steal? I don't know. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
No matter how many girls I hang out with in comic shops, I can never know what it's like to be a girl in a comic shop in every instance. I know what I know. And guys who are big dickheads know what they know, but they assume if they've seen a girl in a comic shop once or twice not being hassled, that there is no problem. There must never be. How can we possibly say that a girl is lying or that she's wrong if she's like, oh, geek girls get treated poorly compared? We cannot know because we are not
You're not
them.
hanging around 24 hours watching this girl to make sure that she's not getting treated
The guys are on the winning side, and the people who are losing in this case, and the guys are saying, oh, why are you complaining? You know, they can never know what it's like to be a girl at a convention. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that it's awful for every girl at a convention. Like, from my experience, like, I've hung around with cool guys and cool girls at conventions who all had a great time. I've never been around a person who's been in that scenario of being, like, quizzed on if they're a true fan or not.
Yeah.
I've never been around you if you've ever been quizzed. Because we tend to go to comic shops full of friggin' cool people who run them.
Yeah, like, generally that's it. We tend to go to some really great shops where you're...
Like, we're in Toronto, where stuff tends to be pretty damn cool. So, as far as we know, things are aces. So, when people who have a life that's aces hear that their hobby that they're a part of is actually crap over here, they have that disbelief. Being like, what are you talking about? There's no way our hobby could be bad.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my major point is these guys do not know how to identify with someone else, and they assume they're lying or complaining or wrong. And I'm not saying believe everything you hear, but you've got to give some leeway. Because
as soon as someone starts complaining about something, it makes you, like it makes it a little bit less enjoyable, because it's like, here's this great thing, and then you hear that the guy that's really cool at the comic shop is being a dick to this girl, and it's like, well, I don't want to believe that, because he's a cool dude. And it's like, well, maybe you should tell him to stop being a jerk then.
Maybe.
But
I don't want to tell him that, they'll ruin our friendship.
I know. But it's like, it's kind of,
Wednesday.
It's like, stop complaining, you're making this not fun.
Yeah,
it's like,
you're
ruining it's not fun for me.
That's the thing, it's like, you're ruining it for the rest of us. It's like, it's already ruined.
Because of, like...
It's ruined!
It's ruined to begin with, so it's finding a way to make it...
So, like, once again, I've, like, people, like, say, like, if you see a girl being, like, mystery in a comic shop, stand up for... I've never seen... Half the comic shops I'm at, girls run them. They work in them. So I've yet to see that experience. But, like, I can tell you, like, if I get kind of annoyed when someone's trying to sell me a series and they're explaining everything, and I already know that series, imagine what that could be like if that's... You're always getting that. Like, pick the series you like so much. Like, whatever manga. It's like, oh, if me and Katie, we enjoy Ranma. If one guy's like, oh, have you read Ranma yet? It's about a guy who turns into a girl. I'm like, yeah, Cold War. Oh, not just that, though. There's a pig. And I'm like, yeah, I finished the damn series. I know.
Oh, really?
Imagine if you got that every single time.
No, this is funny, though, because this reminds me of that Yelp report that you read where it was like, they don't even talk to me at this comic shop. It's like, what do you want? I can't win.
The inverse of this scenario is that Yelp review of a local comic shop.
What we're saying here is that nobody's happy.
No one's happy. Everyone's miserable.
And try not to be a jerk.
No, we talked about this on the show earlier. There's a local comic shop. I felt like just reading their Yelp review. And everyone's like, oh, they don't ask me how my day was. They told me not to bring my coffee in there because it's going to spill and ruin the merchandise. And they did not even say thank you when I bought...
Straight up, though, it's not about the beguiling.
No.
Yeah, it's not about the beguiling at all.
Why would we imagine it was?
No.
It's a different kind. But
I mean, because it's like, you know, there's only so many comic shops you know about, so I want to say, if you come to Toronto, please go visit the beguiling. It's excellent.
God, yes. No, like, I've been to every comic shop.
25th anniversary, I think.
There you go. And I've had a great time.
Yeah.
I feel like we should jump into some chats, but there's one more thing I want to say about... Oh, God. Damn it.
What were we talking about?
It was, there's all these points. This is me after watching that video. I started writing all this down in hopes that I'd either do an article or do a podcast or something. Because it's just like, oh yeah, the final one is there's going back to one thing you said earlier that I think is really important about just kind of shaking it off, brush it off. It's like, oh, this is one guy's opinion. And there's a side of that too where it's like, oh, this is one guy's opinion. There's worse problems out there. There's famine over here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, why talk about anything?
Yeah, I know.
Consider the following: you catch your girlfriend with another guy, and you're like, what are you doing? If she was like, oh, there's famine in another
you know
country,
what?
why
Right.
this? By comparison, me making out with your brother, by comparison, there's war. This right now is nothing. Like, you would never do. Would you accept
should be
that?
so grateful
That this is the
that
worst
we are
of your
even
problems.
alive right now.
Food is scarce.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you have
She's
that
still in bed
attitude.
with his brother. Like,
Yes, during this, she's still.
terrible.
This we're having. It's like, what? So
You want to complain about this?
my point is that I feel like it's a poor argument to say like, oh, there's worse problems for women or whatever, because it's basically saying like why
basically
debate
saying,
about anything?
just be complacent.
Then it says that, and I feel like like once again you can there's the other side of that where like if you complain about everything, then you give power to the words of idiots, and it's a hard balance. Like, should I address this one? But like you were saying, if all you see is people bashing you or your interests online, you kind of want to stand up for it.
Yeah.
To give yourself some hope or someone else some hope.
Well, and I think the reason people attacked that comic guy so strongly was because I don't know much about him, but he seems like someone that would have a following.
Yeah,
so
he's a bit of a figure in the industry.
If someone high up in the industry says this, it's like, well, are a lot of people going to follow him?
Is
like,
that the industry opinion if you're representing the industry?
Is this what everybody thinks?
I know it's not fair to say he is now. It's like in sports. It's like when a sportsman is now sportsman, an athlete. He now has to like be on his A game. He can't be doing the drugs.
People need diaries. They get way too much information. You get heated. You stick it up on an internet forum, and it's just there. And it's like these actors where it's like, no. I will do your tweets. I, the manager, will do. You do not tweet anything. You
do not complain about that director. We have to do the junkets.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah, like everybody complaining about Michael Bay.
10 past midnight. Gotta wake up. Is it 10 past midnight? What time? Where are we?
We're at 10.
Rebecca's saying some girls get offended when a guy tries to stand up for them. That's the other thing.
I think it depends though, because sometimes it's like I can handle this. I don't need.
You don't need a guy being a hero kind of thing. Because like what are you going to accomplish?
But I wonder. Honestly, it depends on the person. I mean, you can't.
Once again.
Like, I would love it if someone would stand up for me. That would be cool. You'd be my new friend. But some people, it's like I can handle this. I don't need you to jump in.
Yeah. It's like I got this.
I think for the most part, people want to stand up though, because it's like I remember that time that guy was getting hassled at McDonald's.
Yeah, and you went all Batman on him.
Yeah, I went all Batman. No, but it was like everybody was on their guard. You knew everybody was like waiting.
Something's gonna happen, and
there was a big guy here. There was a big guy here, and then there was this drunk guy who was. Basically, he was being really rude to the woman working the counter.
Yeah.
And then this guy was like, hey, dude, stop being an asshole. And he was like, what are you saying to me? And he was getting all in his face, and we're all just kind of
we're going to have to do something soon.
And then the guy, like, grabbed him by the face and pushed him at me. And, like, I ended up grabbing the guy and was just like, hey, and, like, stepped forward. I don't know what I was going to do, but it's like...
Did you, like, give him the choke with the arm?
No, I mean, like, but, like, it was just, like, stepping forward, like, hey! And then, like, Jerry's like, well, if she gets in here now, I have to get in a fight. And then this
Jerry's like, don't do it. Don't do it,
Don't do anything.
Don't get me into this.
But it was like everybody was waiting to do something. When something gets really pushed, I think for the most part people are good and they're going to want to come and help you when you're being singled out by someone who's obviously in the wrong and is also someone you could probably take down because the guy was like my height.
I could handle this. It's that thing where it's like, you don't want it to escalate, but at the same time sometimes you got to stand up for what's
But it's that horrible moment where it's like you're all quiet and no one's jumping and saying anything yet. Well, this guy's insulting him.
Who's going to do it
waiting
first?
for it to get to that moment where it's like you have to do something. But it's like I feel terrible for that guy because it's like you feel like you must feel like you're alone. Where
he stood up. And
who knows? Maybe
the girl behind the counter is like, "Shut up, man! You're gonna make it worse." Like, I don't know. None of us can know.
But it's like, after it happened and after the guy's drunk friend escorted him out, like everybody was like, good job, or like I totally would have jumped in.
Yeah, that thing. I would have been on top of that if something happened.
And I mean, I wonder sometimes too if you feel embarrassed because it's like if you're being hassled and someone's like jumping in to save you, it's like you're just embarrassed. You're like, I don't even want to be in this situation. You're making it worse. Just let me handle this.
Let it dissipate.
Like, don't make it worse. Because I can just deal with this and walk off, and now you're going to make it a giant fight, and I don't want it to be a fight. So I mean, honestly, it depends on you know, or
you see those people on the bus all the time.
Again,
like,
you can't ever generalize. And then people harassing people on the bus.
Because people defend themselves even though it's not going to accomplish a terrible amount to like rile them even more because you're inviting. It's that weird line of like defending yourself or inviting further complication. It's like, which route do you take? And unfortunately, it's entirely up to you.
But yeah, that's the thing. And that's the thing. Everybody's just so many different pathways and stuff that is what you're figuring out. So it's hard to generalize that all girls like this, or all girls don't like this, or all guys act like this, and all guys like.
But that's the problem. Is I keep saying my final point, but it's kind of
like
everything I say is like some sort of big encapsulating thing that makes everything make sense.
Okay.
People need to generalize to survive.
Yeah.
Because that's how you understand scenarios, by repetition. And so if you're like. If you do something...
nothing ever is a pattern, you'll just be like, oh.
Everything is chaos. So you assume if one person of this gender or whatever doesn't like this, you get an idea that more of them don't like it either. Mm-hmm. And thus you generalize. And I feel it's a natural core to our existence and survival to be like, oh, generally if I open up a bag of milk, there's going to be milk in it. Mm-hmm. You make that assumption because you don't want to be that guy who every time has to like look into his milk carton and be like, oh, thank God there's milk in it. You know, you've built a pattern. You're not like concerned every time you open a door. Like you've built a system. Yeah. That can also be to our detriment. I was thinking degradation, but detriment's a better word. I don't know degradation. It's kind of like it's behind a lot of things. Our assumptions, that's how we learn and know. And assumptions can be used for negative things like stereotypes and racism. Mm-hmm. Assumptions can be used to keep ourselves safe. Like I'm assuming I shouldn't go like wandering around at like this alleyway at 4 a.m. Like, it's like I can't see anything. We assume, so but unfortunately, that maybe there's. And I mean, that's the sucky thing sometimes where it's like you have to assume that someone coming up to you in the city is going to be weird. Yeah. It's like someone comes up like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I'm not going to be like, sure! Like, part of me is like, oh boy, a new friend!
But I mean, maybe the person's not being a creep. Maybe I'm making a new friend. But it's like, you know, I'm assuming that this is like going to go weird.
This is going to lead to a stabbing somehow. My assumption is led to that.
No, but like, so it's the assumption puts me on my guard because it's, and I mean, that's unfortunate, but sometimes you have to.
We don't live in that happy land in the Star Trek episode you're watching.
Oh, that was great. Even that place sucked. Okay, so like, the first...
Brief segue.
Oh god, those early Star Wars tracks are so funny. They're so cute.
Oh, people are leaving. I need it.
Was everybody going? Did we scare you all off?
No. Did we get too real? Because we can get silly. We can get silly really quick. Really Speaking of silly, Star Trek.
So like, I think it's like the 3rd episode in. It's like they end up on this planet of like, just free love and beauty, and everybody's wearing practically nothing, and it's just like, this is like me watching the first Next Gen episode. It's just like, okay, what's this show about? And it's like, and then the nubile, sexy, blonde men and women of this new planet are like, we must go to the main hall to meet our people, but on this planet we run. So it's like Worf and
is it like run or jaunt?
So they're jaunting. It's like all of them are jaunting. It's like Worf and Riker, and like everybody's just doing this happy little jog behind these half naked people, and I was like, Star Trek's silly.
That's our conclusion. Star Trek's just wacky. So to go back on this whole thing, if you guys are concerned with all our yelling and questions and stuff, our final point.
What is the final point?
So we believe nerddom and geekdom should be accessible to all.
Yeah.
People are allowed to enjoy things being sexy. It's unfortunate that there's a little too, like, you know, it seems very limiting. Balance. There's not enough diversity in it. We can always use more. Yeah. Until that happens, these campaigns of Hawkeye, these videos, like, this will still continue, and I'm all for everyone feeling welcome in the end.
Yeah.
I know I in my heart, I want to believe it's a very small minority of assholes out there. I want to believe, from everyone I've met,
I believe
everyone's very welcoming.
I believe it's just unfortunately very vocal.
Because once again, most
a lot
negative.
of times people don't want to spread negativity, so you'll just...
The most negative things stand out more. For every 10 positive comments,
that's the stuff that
one negative you'll remember.
Yeah.
So this is why, like, don't think that even the people saying that this is a horrible, that it's happening everywhere. It does exist, based on, but not my experience, because I haven't been there. But like, it's something that should be talked about. Don't dismiss it right away. And the bottom line, try to see what other people are saying, even if they're the ones being like, oh, it's not, blah, blah, blah. Try to see why they would have that perspective.
I feel like there's always benefit from just trying to see it from someone else's point of view. Even if it's something totally like, at least look at it and then acknowledge that it's not yours or weird or whatever.
Basically, take the time to understand a dickhead is basically what you gotta strive for, because
but even just to understand that you don't want to think that way.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like,
don't dismiss them right away.
There was I don't know if you saw that was going around on Tumblr. It was a woman's stand up about how to deal with a troll.
Online troll? Or?
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's what
I don't
you
remember
meant.
the name of the actress, how to deal with a bridge troll.
Yeah.
But she's a stand-up comic, and I think she's a blogger, and I can't remember her name.
We are awful for that.
You know what? I will have to look that up. But basically, she's like a heavier set woman, and she right off comes up and says, "So I'm fat." Don't know if you guys could tell, but there it is, and it was kind of like.
I sounded like the girl from Archer. The one from Human Resources. We'll talk about Archer in a second.
But she was talking about how when she was able to do blogging about things, comments would mostly be like, "Oh, I don't appreciate your opinion on this." And that would be but then as soon as
that elegant?
As soon as she's like, as soon as the internet found out I was fat, all the comments were just like, "You fat pig," oink oink, and just horrible, evil, cruel.
Not really open for argument.
Awful,
it was just statements.
Things. And it was like anything she posted, people would just attack it, and it was really upsetting. Like it would make her cry every day just because it was abuse. It was internet abuse from this anonymous group of mass people, and she's like, you want to lash out and attack them, but you don't know what to do because it's anonymous. And so she managed to somehow track down one person because for whatever reason they weren't anonymous, and she found their video on YouTube, and it was just kind of this sad dude that was just talking about how much he hated his life and hated everything. And she was like, this would be a perfect moment for me to be like, ha
strike.
But it's like realizing that he's is the kind of person
creature.
This is the kind of person that's attacking you because and they'll say things like, I hate how happy this person is with herself.
Yeah.
I hate that she's so happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of pushing that forward, it's realizing that this is a very sad existence. This is not the kind of person I want to be.
Yeah, you don't want to become like, there's a reason why they're so hateful.
Yeah, and so,
matching them doesn't make it better.
And it sucks to have to ignore it because you want to just reach into the screen and just like throttle someone. But it's like, when people say, be the bigger person, turn the other cheek, and you're like, I don't want to do it though. I want to like.
I want revenge.
It's not so much doing
Sweet
that, but
revenge.
it's realizing that you're not at that kind of sad level that you're going to attack people, and acknowledging that, and just kind of like realizing that, well, unfortunately, this is the kind of person that's, like they're much worse off. It was an interesting talk she gave, but yeah, because what can you do with an internet troll?
Oh yeah. Well,
you can't really do anything.
The kind of sad.
Unless it's somehow it's coming into, because I remember there was a blogger and she was talking about, I can't remember. Our research is so good.
There was
a troll that was kind of like sending packages to her house, and it was getting very dangerous.
Yeah, that gets a little personal.
And it was like making like threatening attacks against her children and things like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's
verbally.
when you have to go down.
Yeah, and the police managed to track him down, and actually the entire, like, I think comic book resources and a whole bunch of really big internet comic sites were on this guy to track him down and like stop him, because when it breaches into the reality, when it comes into like actual danger, it's like, and it's actual danger, it's dangerous just anyway, like to your psyche, just getting attacked all the time. But no, it sucks, yeah, it's really unfortunate. And all you can do is just try and support the people that you support, who you see are getting attacked relentlessly. Just if you really like someone's work and you see they're getting like a lot of negativity, like just add your drop of happiness and goodness, because really all you can do is try and balance it out.
Like if you try to fight their battles, like once again, it's like being in that McDonald's again.
Oh gosh,
someone's gonna snap, and like does it make it the situation better, or does it make you feel better to be like, well, fuck you too, haha, I got him back? It's like, well, that helped things. Like there's that difference of defending someone versus just like trying to get yours in to like revenge, and revenge propagates more revenge. I'm actually writing a story about that.
Well, most movies are like that, where it's like it just keeps going with the family feuds, and
wow.
Oh,
I want to see that talk. That sounds
episode.
Interesting.
You know what? I will find it so I can tell you guys about it. What was I supposed to find, you guys? I was supposed to find a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know about.
Let's jump in quickly. Rebecca's saying it's similar to when you look, this may have been a little earlier, into the internet and then have 1,012 people vocally supporting all the American comic males sleeping with one another. Wait, what? What's this about? There's 1,012 people vocally supporting all the American comic males sleeping with one another. I'm not sure what the situation is referencing. I remember that episode is very odd.
It might be talking about the
Maybe
Holiday Initiative.
The what?
It might be referring to the Hawkeye initiative.
I'm not sure. Sorry, these are comments from a little while ago, so we're losing the context. It's easier for people to be a jerk when there is no accountability for your actions. There's kind of one unfortunate thing about also the internet argument is that people will also go into the brush off of its side, being like, oh, it's just trolls, what are you going to do? But there's a certain truth to the fact that it's like, this isn't just a joke opinion. This is someone's, like, you don't just write it, haha, but in real life, I'm actually a really nice person, just in this situation. I want to be a dick. It's like, this is like, if anything, more truthful when you say stuff. And when you try to back it up, being like, oh, it's just a joke, haha. It's like, this is what you're really thinking, dude. Which is even scarier to a certain degree, that you don't have accountability. It's like, I can say what I really mean now, and no one can get me on it. So it's like, when you just say, oh, just ignore the trolls, at the same time, it's like, this is a real opinion out there. It can't just be a joke, because to come up with that, you had to think of it. It didn't just like, I'm in troll mode now, and then something accidentally falls out that's delightfully offensive. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I'm not saying pick fights with them, but it's just like, it's still real. Like, don't discount it as being like, oh, it's just a troll. It's like, there's still some reality to it.
Okay, the name of the woman is Lindsay West. You know what sucks, though? In order to find it, I was like, I had to write in fat comedian lady.
Oh, really?
Because I couldn't find it. And I was like, God damn. But, you know, Lindsay West on being fat and dealing with online trolls. And I think it's definitely worth a listen.
Once again,
Lindy West.
Once again, like, basically gather as many opinions as you can. Like, be them negative, positive, for, against, with, or
just
distant.
Try and devour
when you can build the bigger picture, you're in a better position to have a valid opinion. Because if you know what's going on both sides, I feel like you're way better off than being like loving what you have and fighting to the nail against anyone who's against it. Like, get to know what the concerns of both parties are, and then like after that, then you can discredit and be like, oh well, they're just idiots.
Yeah, but only if like
have that perspective first.
Possible.
Even if they're ludicrous, try to understand. Like her talking about like tracking down this guy. Try to understand why someone would say what they said. Like, it may be a waste of time, I know, but like, don't just be like, oh, he's just an idiot. Because then, like, you've won that battle. Then, like, what have you gained from that knowledge? It's like, if you knew what was going on, you'd be like, oh, that explains it. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not saying there's like answers to everything, but it's like, give it a second. If you see someone be like, meh, 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 it's like, what is behind this meh, meh, meh?
Yeah, what is going on?
What is the root?
What's with your meh, meh, meh?
What is the root of your meh, meh, mehness? Andrew Perez saying, I'm glad I listened to today. I work with someone who loves to criticize everything, often about things I enjoy. I'm dying just to tell the guy to chill out and accept and enjoy different things. And this goes back to the it's not for you theory that I just want to bring up quickly. If you saw that video, a lot of people misinterpreted my concept of it's not for you to be like, well, if you don't like it, shut up.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. The point is, there are certain things out there that, as in the title, are not for you. It's like, if you can have an opinion, even if something's not for you. Like, say this show's for kids, and you're like, oh man, the writing's awful. Like, you're allowed to have that opinion. If you're getting furious over it, if you cannot sleep at night because you're like, Twilight exists and people enjoy it, I can't, like, what? Like, calm down, first of all. Like, I find there's different kinds of hating. H-A-T apostrophe. Mm-hmm. Different kinds of hating. There's, like, legitimate hating. There's, like, man, oh god, that was an awful episode. I can't even. That's like legitimate hating. There's fun hating. That episode sucks so bad. and we all love to rag on things that are like, Twilight is so stupid. And I find fun hating, at least you comprehend that other people can enjoy it, and you didn't. And you're having a lark. You're like, it's Jacob. It's great. But then there's like legitimate enrage of the existence of something that you did not enjoy, even though you were not the intended audience. And that's the thing I'm addressing. Where it's like, you prayed, it just fell apart, the show got canceled. And it's like, and it's just, that doesn't make sense. Because it's like, the show, assuming it's not like they canceled your show to put that show on the air. That show's not taking anything away from you, at least not directly. Like, other people are allowed to enjoy it. It's not for you to enjoy. And so you can criticize it on its merits and stuff, but when you are livid and like, we gotta bring it down, it's like, why? What is it doing that's so bad? You know, it's not for you. So that's my point.
But then what about, like, yeah, okay.
What are you gonna...
I'm like, what about, like, all this talk we've had about, like, sexist superhero comics?
No!
I'm just trying to say things before someone comments.
No, but that ties into the concept of who is the content intended for? Like if
not
if
meant
DC actually stepped up and said, guess what, everyone, no one else can enjoy our comics. It's only meant for these people. Then we'd all be like, oh, all right then. Well,
I guess I'll take my money.
Go on your merry
else.
way. We'll finance something else. But like when they're still like vying for the other audiences,
when you enjoy it and then someone's telling you shouldn't be, you're like, huh?
it's many different things. And truthfully, like. So, like, when I say it's not for you, I'm not saying, like, someone intended to be like, no one else should enjoy this, only this demographic. Because there's a potential for everyone to enjoy something. My Little Ponies. I'm not even saying, like, now, it's even more acceptable to like My Little Ponies. But at the beginning, everyone was kind of baffled. They're like,
I see a
why?
little bit of brony hate, and I'm like, why? Like, are they hurting anybody? Like,
but at the beginning,
people that like it.
Hasbro or whatever never intended it to be, like, a male audience. So when it happened, they're like, that's cool, but whoa, that's kind of strange. Mm-hmm. But that's because it was open to the potential, like everything. The potential for everyone to like it. Mm-hmm. They didn't, I don't know if they ever said, like, you're not allowed to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But if a man doesn't enjoy My Little Pony, you can argue, well, you were not the intended audience for this. It was intended for this and this. And therefore, it is not intended for you. It is not for you. But it's that difference of, like, no one can really make something where they say, no one else can like it except for this select demographic. People will strive for that, but it doesn't make sense anymore. Mm-hmm. So even if DC and Marvel said, guess what? These sexy poses are integral to our strategies because we do not want women to like this at all.
You'd be like, okay.
Comics were built on the premise of Boys Club, and we will keep it that way till my dying breath.
Well, what sucks is it's like, but I like this character. And it's like, well, now we're going to have him being sexist for the rest of the series.
It's like, you like Harley Quinn? All right, let's lower those, make the pants way too low. Make the shirt way too high.
Impractical.
Pose her like she's broken in many places.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I don't know sometimes if it's a big joke. Like, they're like, look what we just drew. And you're like, oh, come on.
Do you think that's like, I feel like there's a bit of that where it's like, oh, you don't like how I pose Starfire, do you? Well, fine, take this.
You're like, what?
And this is going back to the revenge thing. You're defending yourself. So it's like, well, how about this then? How do you like her leg over her head for no reason while she's signing a document? Meh. Because I feel there's a bit of that. Because your people are criticizing your work. It's like, I drew what I thought was sexy and you don't like it?
You know what?
Well, I'm going to up the ante then. Why back down?
They do have a very tight turnaround for comics.
It is true.
I think it's like a month you have to get it penciled and inked and colored. And like a lot of times people will break from the strain of it because it's just like intense.
Oh yeah.
You gotta get 28 pages done or something.
I guess that explains the lumpy bodies where it's like, I can't even think! It's like, these wacky ass poses.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't remember anatomy!
You don't have time to remember anatomy.
I've been awake for 3 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the anchor's just like, oh, this is what he drew.
Who am I to change?
Who am I to judge his artistic integrity?
Poor guy's having a nervous breakdown. The internet's gonna hate me!
The anchor's just having a smoke. He's like, oh, that you're done? Fuck it.
Weird.
Well, whatever you're doing.
Okay, weird. I like this anchor.
I'm pretty sure anchors aren't as laid back as I imagine.
They're still wearing like the fedoras and the spies.
Like,
it's like this old world comic artist.
9 to 5 today. Awesome.
Yeah. I don't think they work 9 to 5s.
I got off early today.
I feel like at Anchor, it's like you're getting it 2 days before deadline.
Yeah.
It's like, we still need to color this.
So the color guy's like,
where are all my filters?
This has been quite an episode. But
yeah.
Getting ugh. Because once again, like my bottom line.
Oh.
What's about
What's about
is I would just love for everyone to be able to enjoy comics. Definitely, you're allowed to have your catered product. You're allowed to say this is intended for this is intended for that. But it's like you should. No one should do anything. No one shouldn't do anything. Whatever. But it's nice that if everyone can access something. Mm-hmm. You know, you can have your boys club, you can have your girls club, and do this and that. But let's try not to segregate, like push people away.
Giant entertainment things, especially if people like it.
Like if they like it, win. Like the other thing was, it's not a secret. It's not this exclusive thing. The world has access to this, so why have it there and be like, no. And once again, to recap, this isn't everyone. We have found comics to be a delightful industry.
Oh yeah.
Full of like awesome people. Like I've yet to get some guff. Someone up in my craw at a comic convention.
Yeah.
it's been lovely.
We've had really good experience so far, and I hope it stays like that. And also too, like as a lady working animations, been the same. I've had a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Everybody I meet is wonderful. So it's just hearing about people dealing with it is what makes me upset because, I've had such a great experience and I've been very welcomed everywhere that it's hearing someone who isn't. You're like, well, come on now.
Yeah. Like we wish upon that everyone could feel welcome in this, Because
I mean, in the end, it's like we're here to be entertained, to express, and to, and it's, I feel like we're kind of like, boo.
Yeah, well, we got to wind down after all that. I mean, it is an hour and a half show thus far.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So, once again, enjoy what you like, support people, all that good stuff. Yeah, went on a tear there. Mm-hmm. I hope all our answers were right.
Essentially, all you gotta do is boil down to, like, don't be a jerk, and, like, that kind of covers a lot of
That covers your bases.
You got 10 commandments, just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, that fills out all 10, man.
And then you wouldn't do any of the other stuff, because you're like, nope,
that's quite jerk-like.
Yeah, I shouldn't do that.
People like to cosplay, like, if they only know the character because they like the costume.
That shouldn't take away your enjoyment of it.
Well, there you go. They have a nice costume, so be it. Why hate?
I just think everybody should do yoga and go live on that utopia planet in Star Trek where it's like...
Not to break topic, Asphalt Fields Chapter 1 is up.
Oh,
says Flux Fox. Yes, it is. Now speaking of manly men...
Oh, should I leave? I like manly men.
Going to the topic of our hero fan... Wait, what is it? Not hero fantasy. Power fantasy, what they call it? Gears of War! Right. So, as you may recall, last year for Movember, the promised content for the donation was a chapter read of the Gears of War book, Asfo Fields. Not Ass Full of Fields, Asfo, P-H,
That's an
Fields.
Title.
Yes. And it's an unfortunately long friggin' book. Like, these chapters are way longer than Twilight chapters, I'll tell you.
I also saw that you made the entire book donation for the Twilight.
Oh god, we'll get to that in a second. But the point is, right now head on over to uberfriendship.com. There's 2 or so articles about the topic of the fake nerd girls. I believe Glenn's is ironic, right, Glenn? You're not an awful person.
You just want us to get a lot of...
I'm trying to defend the website, but if you look there at uberfriendship.com, there is the Gears of War Aslo Field chapter read by our good buddy Jesse Hodson. He is a photographer and has always wanted to dabble in voice work, and he does a phenomenal job on this. He narrates it. I made him do it in his old man narrator voice, like smoking pipe. Amazing. Thank you, Glenn. You're ironic. He reads it like, Marcus went down to the market. That's amazing. It's great. Imagine a man with a pipe in a hunting lodge. Very enjoyable. It took a long time to cut together, but it's all there. Gears of War Asphalt Field Chapter 1 over at uberfriendship.com. You can also go to the tab under Shaggy stuff, the Shaggy Reads, where you'll find that, as well as Shaggy Reads Twilight. So here's some interesting news about that. So for this Movember, I finally said, all right, one last hurrah. If anyone wants Shaggy Reads Twilight, here's your last chance. I'm never going to do it again. So donate $25 to Movember.
This will be it.
Raising, this will be it. If we only get 2 chapters out of it, fine. 3, all the better.
Done.
Happy you guys. So we got all 11 remaining chapters done. Your generosity knows no end to my pain.
It's for charity.
It's for charity.
You gotta do it for the men's
health. Do it for the men's, I say. So all throughout 2013, you'll get like chapters of Shaggy Reads Twilight.
They're so entertaining. I'd say whether you're a fan or you don't like the show, it's very fun. Because,
this could be your chance. If you were one of those people who hated on Twilight, check out Shaggy Reads Twilight, and you can at least have more grounding. So your argument isn't just like, the movie's dumb. It could be like, Edward's choice to do this was ungrounded, and I find Jacob's plot development to be most weak. Like, if you have that foundation, people will be like, oh, he's the most intelligent hater I know. And clearly he's read the book.
Yeah, and if you're a fan, you have a sense of humor. Like, it's pretty goofy.
Yeah. So, I get a chance...
You'll never hear Edward in your head the same way again when you read the books.
I get a chance to do some silly voices. I get to practice reading out loud, which is something I do not do nearly enough.
You should do more of it.
So,
Oh, you want to hear something cute? I don't know if you're the one who retumbled this, but they were saying that, the actor who plays Bilbo,
yes.
his...
Oh, yeah, I heard this. I did tumble this.
It's really cute.
So, while, what's his name?
We're so good at
He's from The Office. And the Hitchhiker's Guide movie, if you didn't see that.
And Sherlock.
The series. His name, he was... when you shoot a Lord of the Rings movie... Martin Freeman. When you shoot a Lord of the Rings movie, a Martin Freeman movie, what? When you film a Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movie, you're going to be in New Zealand for quite some time.
Forever.
And that leads you to not seeing your family unless they come over once in a while. So apparently, what this Tumblr, if it's to be taken true, is once again, I wasn't there, what do I know? But if it's to be taken true, Martin Freeman's kids came by to stay, and Ian McKellen, friggin' Gandalf himself, acted as babysitter, reading bedtime stories to these kids.
I wish I had that life.
So in context, you as a child got read bedtime stories by Gandalf the friggin' Grey.
I'm wondering what he's reading too.
Oh.
Twilight.
I want Gandalf reads Twilight, maybe? No, Jacob was not ready for that commitment. But it's that, like...
He could read anything and I'd be like, yeah.
Is that, yeah, he's charming. So that, whether the story's true or not, it sounds very nice.
Yeah,
Lucky
it's very
kids.
sweet.
Why not?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. Damn, that's a cute story.
Yeah, it was just feel good. If you're feeling a little antsy from our talk, like,
yeah, if this has been too heavy.
think on that and how nice.
If I've been yelling at you for too long, you've been trying to draw, and you're like, shut up.
At least you're not peeking.
Just yelling.
Wow.
Am I? This microphone is working properly, right?
Yeah, it should be.
What else? There's a. Should we go on to the 2-hour show? It's
I'm having fun.
It's been an hour
People what I'm
40.
drawing.
Oh, I thought you were. Was it private stuff, or you want to?
No.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just having fun.
Let's jump on to Katie Cam.
How do I do it?
He doesn't know.
Do I do
How you click screen?
2D?
No. Unless you want us to be.
Yay!
Hey!
So this is a girl I saw on Waiting for the Bus. She's got blue hair. Actually, you know what? Can I just do both screens?
Yeah, you could do 2D mix. Hi, everybody.
We're so tiny.
Well, do 3D mix then.
Oh.
I don't know if it's gonna work. Ah! Oh, that's actually awful.
That is terrible.
Because I'm out of frame. Go back to 2D mix.
Okay, 2D mix.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
We're in the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
Flexbox says I didn't have any dishes in the hotel to do. That's unfortunate. Yeah, we should have just had this on the whole time, probably. So people could have seen you drawing.
Nah.
I thought you were doing like just some other thing.
No, I needed a bit of a brain relaxation, so I started doing this.
Yeah, there you go. Sometimes just gotta draw.
Sometimes just gotta draw.
Like, this will make Flexbox happy. I finally started writing something for the upcoming anthology.
How about that other anthology?
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that tonight.
Okay.
We gotta go over some things because working on this Gears of War thing took way too long for various reasons. So it's finally done. I'm basically, my goal before 2013, I want to kind of get all my old crap out there. I know I owe like someone else a story. I got some old videos I'm trying to just get edited and throw out there. Good lord. What program are you using? Wait, for the screen capture or for drawing?
For drawing, I'm using Sketchbook Pro.
Oh, you are using something different.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep, this is what I was using for my last show for storyboarding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it like different than Photoshop in various ways?
It's got its pluses and minuses.
But like Corel Draw was like an additive program where it treated it like ink. It's like every layer was darker.
There's stuff about this I like. There's stuff about this that drives me crazy, especially when you're trying to storyboard.
Yes.
But then there's stuff about every program that's good or bad.
And this is a real person with the leopard pants?
Yeah, I saw her today.
Is that leopard pants?
Yeah, leopard pants.
There you go.
Blue hair and
Do you ever wish, like, you see someone who just stands out and looks wacky that you could be them for a day?
Yeah, me too.
Like, I want to dye my hair blue, but I don't want people to look at me.
I know, that's the thing. It's
Don't
like,
look at me!
I want to do all this stuff, but I don't want the attention.
Leave me alone! I'm not an animal! It's like a list.
I'm not an animal.
You just have blue hair and they're like not even looking at you. They're like, look at the newspaper. What?
Yeah, probably.
Like, now you're just drawing attention.
Jerry was talking about, like, he's got these shoes that he doesn't love, and he's like, I go outside, everybody's staring at my shoes. I'm like, nobody's staring at your shoes.
Unless it's, like, notable that people stop walking.
It's like, oh my god, those are old
and
shoes.
points.
It's
And
like,
go like,
nobody
oh.
cares.
And someone, like, raises pitchforks and a torch. It's like, get him! Monster! I hope that doesn't happen to Jerry. That'd be awful.
No, it's very sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the thing is I don't tend to want to stand out. Like, back in the day when I had, like, my crazy different beards, I had, like, the pillars.
I think the thing it comes down to is it's not for anyone else, though. If it's for you, it's like, I want to dye my hair this color because I want to dye my hair this color.
It goes back to that thing. It's just, like, you want to look that way for you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, like, get anyone's attention, but it's like, I'd like, shave weird designs in my beard because I just felt like it.
It's just, unfortunately, some people treat you differently. Because it's like, I've heard stuff with, like, friends of mine who have tattoos where it's like, well, people will actually, like, grab at your sleeve to see more of your sleeve. They'll pull.
Show me the rest of it.
It's like, what makes you think you can actually touch
Unless
me?
they were like, what if they were like the one sent to find the one? And he's like, he'll have a tattoo. And he's like,
no, I have
get
to
a
check.
quick peek.
This is
I have
terrible,
to check
man.
to save the future.
No, stop it, you jerk.
I got called out for my friggin' scarf.
What?
My,
Hufflepuff?
My Hufflepuff scarf.
Really?
Well, first, alright, these are two instances. Alright, should I just show you guys the damn scarf?
Yeah, our mom did it.
Yeah. First of all, I didn't recall it being Hufflepuff. I didn't recall asking for it to be Hufflepuff. So I got this scarf here, see, which is one of the warmest scarves I've ever had. My mom made it. It's lovely.
She made me a pink one.
Now, in the early days, like last year or so when I wore it, I'd walk by, then I randomly hear people going like, Hufflepuffs are good finders. And I'm like, oh, they must have watched the Potter. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're talking about me!
About you? That's so cute.
So that's alright, that's fine. Recently, after I was at a recording studio for some stuff, and I got out, and this guy on the street was just like, it wasn't a Harry Potter thing, but he's like, are you wearing that because it's cold or as a fashion statement? Because it's not cold out here. And I'm just like,
wow.
And I didn't want to engage, because once again, I didn't want to have to choke him out like you do. Yeah. So I just kind of...
Oh, I will choke out.
I kind of like just went, oh man, I'm just wearing it because it's cold. And, you know, and he just wouldn't let it go. He's like, you fashion guy here. And I'm like, dude, I'm waiting for a taxi. Leave me alone. And then the other night, yes, it was like 2 o'clock, but in the afternoon. Then the other night, I was leaving the subway, and I could have sworn I heard the kids like talking about like, the Gryffindor and stuff. I'm like, first of all, you idiots, it's Hufflepuff. Then secondly, you shut up about my scarf.
My mommy did this.
Yeah, and he's like, freaking sorting hat and Gryffindor. I'm like, it's not Gryffindor.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta deal with
Know your houses.
You know what, though? Some people are just dicks, so it's like, I know. Come on.
But like, I let it slide. I'm not gonna like turn around and be like, hey, clearly.
Hufflepuff. You had that thing where you're like, I'm not.
No, don't spoil it. That's my t-shirt I'm gonna make someday.
Okay, it's good.
Maybe. So that's my story.
Some people have to comment. You know what's weird? Like
They just gotta. They can't keep it in.
And some teenagers are weird. I remember walking home in Mississauga once, and there were these girls. I was wearing like a lot of black just because that's what I happened to be wearing when I was going to the store, and these girls were like, excuse me, you look really hot, and like laughing, and I was like, what?
Is that like a side remark or a backhanded?
I don't know if it was like,
or is it genuine?
But I wasn't seeing it as a like you look cute or anything. It was kind of like this weird statement where I was like, yeah.
Or did they like dare each other to say it or something like that?
But you know, and then you laugh because you said it, and you're like,
that was the day I knew I was old, because it was Halloween.
Oh gosh.
And I was way back at our old school. Like I was coming home from the bus, like through Mississauga, and I was at the other end of the school field, and there's like some youths hanging out in the school, and I was walking by. I had like a big red wig on, spiky wig, because I was like Halloween, funny, whatever. And like from across the field, I hear like one of the girls, because it's like teens or kids, and one's like, "I love you." I'm like, "No, I'm that guy." Ah!
Yeah.
Because if I was like their age, it would just be like, look at that asshole. But I'm an older guy, so they're like, and I'm like, nah. And they're like, oh my god. Like,
as you fall to your knees.
Crying, and I'm rocking back and forth, and they're like,
start dancing around you. Some demonic, like,
this weird fairy tales chant, and oh god, that's the day.
I just don't want to be bugged.
Yeah. Frag off.
Leave me alone.
I hate, that's the thing, like, when, I went out jogging when, like, spring came around. I didn't cut my hair yet, so it was kind of big and kind of bouncing with my jog.
You do have very big.
And I hope to God I didn't have like a fanny pack or something for my keys. But like I remember being very conscious of where my keys were, because it's like bouncing around my pocket while I'm trying to go for a run. And I happened to like run by like a grade school. And I don't even know if they said anything or if they were looking, but then I just like, it was so self-conscious. I'm like, oh shit.
You know what?
The snide remarks. I have like a beard and a bouncy hair.
I told you this. Anytime a school bus of children walks by, I won't look at it because I know one of them are going to give me the finger.
Yeah, yeah.
In the back of like some kid is going to make some rude gesture.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have the worst day ever because I can't do anything about it.
I cannot be an authority figure because I fear children's opinions.
It's like they're going to ruin my day. If I just don't look, it won't happen.
Like, I can never tell like a kid to wisen up or something like that. Don't use that language, because then like they're gonna use it on me, and then where will I be? I can't defend myself.
I'm so afraid of children.
I hate children.
Anyone you can't have a good conversation with, you're like, no.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm just kind of zoning out here. That's awful.
Yeah, man. I fear children.
They're scary.
I don't like when there's more than one of them. What have we become? we're like those people, like only 3 kids allowed in the store at a time.
I know.
Wearing their hoodies.
I think it's just I don't like obnoxious people, and
yeah.
sometimes obnoxious people when they're young don't grow up to not be obnoxious people, so it's like, ah.
They maintain, they're steadfast and true in their obnoxious nature.
Yeah.
I don't know, like me as a kid, I never liked to like.
I didn't like to make anyone
bug
feel
people.
weird.
I didn't like to like. That's the thing. Like, this is what I attest to why I don't have any exciting stories growing up. Because I never wanted to cause trouble to people. I didn't want, like, when people rebel against teachers, I'm like, dude, they're 9 to 5 or whatever.
You've got a very mature mindset. You're
well, because as a kid, because our dad's a teacher at the time, and I'm just like, they're just trying to get the day done. Like, you're going to grow up to be them someday, and you're going to remember how much of an asshole you were. Because, like, they're an authority figure mainly because they're older than you. And so you're like, we got to take the system down. I'm like, they don't even care about the system. They've given up already, and we're doing that now.
You sound like we're giving up.
It's like, we don't care about your little rebellion, but we're going to pretend, and it's like, oh, put them in detention or something.
Hey,
but it's like, what is the point of being rebellious? Like, oh, I'm against people who are just trying to get by. Take them down. It's like, wow, you're a dick. Yeah, they have Game of Thrones and Star Trek to watch. You know, like, it's those weird moments when you realize teachers are human. And it sounds weird that I say that, but it's like, I remember our trip to, like, Montreal as kids. And, like, we saw, like, we were told, you gotta go in your rooms, and we locked the doors from the outside, and you're stuck in there, and as kids, you know.
You're like, boo!
And we're all trying to figure out ways to sneak out and go to the girls' room. I have no plan for what would happen afterwards. That was just the whole goal. Cool, we know we're supposed to do that. Didn't happen. The plan fell apart. It was a really good plan, too. Fell apart. Anyway, so we're looking out the window, and we see, like, teachers, like, now wandering off to the local Montreal bars, and we're like, like, they're gonna drink things. And
of course they are.
Yeah, and as a kid, you're like, my God.
Were
Teachers drinking, probably not, it might have just been me. But either way, it was that kind of thing where it's like...
people talking about that in Girl Guides, where it's like, well, you know what the leaders get up to when they go back to the tent. It's like the whiskey, and it's like...
They drink,
what?
and you're like, what?
Of course they drank, they had to listen to my annoying ass all day.
They had to hear us, they had to pretend to like songs around the fire.
They had to pretend to think we were really cute.
But when you get older, and then your friends become teachers and stuff, and you're just like, well, they're still my friends who go out on Halloween dressed up as sexy Superman or whatever. So it's like, they're still people. Like, they are people. Your teachers are people. Ridiculous as it is to think, because they're authority. Yeah. But like, even like your parents, they're people.
I think that's the weird moment when you realize your parents are
people
and not just mom and dad. It's like, whoa. Because
it's like, you imagine like how your parents know everything and that's why their word is law. But like, you grew up and you know nothing. You're not prepared. You just deal with the situation as it arises. Yeah. No one knows anything.
That is true though. You just kind of deal with it as best you can.
Yeah. And you just do it with straight enough face. So when your kid like cuts himself, you're not like, oh shit! Oh Jesus! You're like, calm down. We're gonna put a Band-Aid on that. They used to make me upset too. Where I'm like, why aren't you as upset about this as I am? It's like, because if I'm freaking out, I'm not doing anything for you. I'm just like, ah, and you're like, ah. And you gotta be stronger for them, you know. And because they have that, you know, disposition where it feels like they know everything, so they're law. But then if they're law, they have to be taken down a notch because you can't rule over me, kind of thing. And it's just like, and then you realize everyone's people, and it's kind of ridiculous.
You know how old we sound right now?
I don't know. I'm kind of like jamming some youth science into that. After that sentence.
I like to jam some youth science into.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I was old too early.
Me too.
As a kid, like.
Well, I remember just feeling teenagers were. It was weird. It was a weird kind of like I didn't feel like.
I was too self-aware of teens being a teen. I didn't have a rebellious phase.
What is this strange cycle in life where I'm not supposed to do anything but consume popular culture.
Yeah, and
I felt like I was being pandered to, where I was like, no, I'm gonna read comic books.
But this isn't even me like being like trying to be like elitist or more mature. It was just as a kid I was too self-aware of if I did anything that was kid-like, it felt like acting.
Yeah.
Like if I were to like, let's all go drink and be crazy, I'm like, it feels very intentional.
Or things on TV that told you what you should be doing or what was cool. I was like,
and thus I had a very dull high school career because I didn't do any of the cool crazy stuff because I was too aware. Like I was too self-conscious of how aware I was about it. It's strange.
Go to parties. I'd stay home and make comics.
Yeah.
And like now I get to work a pretty cool job where I get to draw all day and enjoy myself.
I don't know. It's weird.
And I get to go to parties with people who I like that have similar interests as me. And we watch cartoons. That's excellent.
It's all starting to get very introspective.
Yeah. We should call this episode Womp Womp.
2 Dungeons Deep. Womp Womp.
Well, 2 Dungeons Deep, I do like that. Holy though, Skyfall was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Being a teen took so much energy, says Daniel Luke.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like I wonder if anybody's really if they're all just trying to fake it.
Do you think everyone's self-aware and they're all just like, keep up the act, man. Set off the fire alarm, man. We're expected to do it.
Yeah, I know. Let's go.
Say woo
pumpkins.
A lot.
It's like he's cringing while he's punching a pumpkin. He's like, no, I don't want to.
Call out that guy for having a Halloween costume, dude. We gotta.
You're so uncool. Oh, I'm such an ass.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
I hate myself.
I gotta go home and just dwell on my cruelty.
Thing is, it's like, I didn't like ever being mean to anyone because it's like it would haunt you.
I didn't. Yeah. It was like I recently watched You Got Mail again. And
what happens to that one? Is it because he's a big blockbuster?
Well, there's a scene. No, well, there's a scene. Basically, Tom Hanks is in chats with Meg Ryan over AOL email. I don't think it was instant messenger. It was email. And basically, they're talking about like that moment where you finally get to say that like wicked awesome comeback and tear that person down. But the truth of the matter is, afterwards, you're just going to feel miserable about it. Because, like, you got them at their most vulnerable. You've won the argument.
Yeah.
But you go home and you're like, wow, I'm a dick.
That's what I was saying about that thing with the woman with the trolls, where it's like, you could say that, and then it's like, I am one of them.
Yeah, like, what have you gained from, like, tearing them down?
It's because you didn't have the class and the control to just be like, I don't need to arise to this, I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
Well, this is going back to Gandalf science. Like, this guy said a lot of stuff. He said, like, it takes more...
Gandalf science.
It takes more strength or bravery to know when to spare a life or something like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the heat of the moment, you can start striking people down, but it's like, it takes more to, like, let someone live kind of thing. To, like, let them go.
Or what is
If you love them, Bilbo, you let them go.
If you build it, Bilbo.
He just starts mixing up these old sayings and stuff.
Help me, help you.
And I'm just like digging through my memories seeing if there's any others.
You do know how to whistle, don't you? I love Gandalf.
Gandalf says some of the awesomest stuff. Like it's.
I got them written down on my wall. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. I teared up at that moment.
He said something about
that is a life bomb. That's so true.
Enjoy the company in which you. There's a line about like enjoy the company in which you're with. Like it's like enjoy the people you're with instead of always aspiring for like others or something.
Because like if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with.
Settle, Bilbo. That's what I'm trying to say.
Settle.
It doesn't get better from here.
Trust me.
Trust me on that one.
I've been old since I was created.
I've never been invited to a party. That's why I keep crashing your house.
I've got nowhere to go.
I'm lonely. But like one of the lines I use, the context was probably different, but it was like, who's to say who deserves to live in? Like, can you give life to those who you give death so willingly, but can you give life to those who didn't deserve to die? Kind of thing.
Do not be so swift to deal out death and judgment.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's just like something about Tolkien like writing that stuff was so profound. Like he just snuck it in to be like he had an agenda, he had an opinion, of course, and it's just this Gandalf was just exemplifying all his kind of like these kind of not proud per se, but like noble kind of lifestyles where it's just like don't be so quick to judge and kill. It's like it's just subtle stuff.
And everyone's like, to me!
Kill them all! Meanwhile, I got 12 orcs. How many do you got?
Nothing I love more than killing 12 orcs.
And Gandalf's just like,
take down that Oliphant,
kill them all. That's how we win.
Kill them. Legolas, shoot that guy.
for the white man. I'm like, oh, Aragorn.
Jeez.
Ooh, I hate those who are different. It's like, Aragorn, cut that shit out, man. It's not cool.
Not good for PR.
I just said to Frodo. Sparing.
Frodo's the one who had to be innocent.
He's like, alright, don't listen to Aragorn. That's my last bit of science I'm throwing at you, kid.
All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us, and don't listen to Aragorn.
Don't listen to that Strider.
Is that Sam? No, I tell you, don't listen to Strider.
He's like, oh god. He doesn't exemplify my lessons very well. So...
There's a great GIF I saw, and it's funny because I think we touched on this when we made that Lord of the Rings fanfic over on fanfiction.net. You can find it under
Eye on the Prize. It's still there, apparently.
It's ridiculous. But it's when Legolas is in Helm's Deep and he's saying in Elvish, like, look at these people.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's like, then I shall die as one of them. And then Legolas is like, the subtitle.
Hashtag.
Dude, I was saying this in Elvish for a reason.
It's like, hashtag, I used Elvish. It's like, shut up, man, about the dying. It's like... That's why we were whispering it.
Whispering it. It just totally made it awkward.
Oh man, but yeah, so I'm definitely excited for The Hobbit.
I'm so excited. I really hope I can see it in IMAX.
I know I'm gonna see it anyway, so I'm avoiding reviews because I tend to do that when I know it's to a degree it's got to be good. Like there's no way it's gonna be like, oh my god, this is the worst.
What?
Like it's kind of like you have a feeling sometimes.
But then
and like
I didn't
certain
really
movies.
Like King Kong. So
but no one told me it was gonna be like I didn't have a feeling about King Kong.
Yeah.
Because I'm like
I got a feeling about this
one. That's not like it's whenever like a creator, a director, writer was like, oh, I loved King Kong when I was a kid, and I feel it's kind of the same with what happened with John Dude Man. What the hell is that movie called?
John Dude Man?
No, John Jump Around. John
Jumper.
Loppity. John.
Looper Duper.
John Mars. God.
Oh, John Carter.
John Carter. There you go. Memorable name.
You know, some people really liked it.
But like my point is, like whenever I hear a director being like, "Oh, as a kid, I love this," and I finally get to make it, I feel like there's a bit of a clouding where it's you think everyone enjoys it as much as you. And so when Jackson's like, "Oh, King Kong," that moment when the doors open, I'm like, "Dude, we had Jurassic Park." In our era, so King Kong's not going to impress us.
But like, Peter Jackson wasn't like, "Oh, I hate Lord of the Rings. Let's just make this stupid thing." Like, there's some passion behind every
a trilogy now. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, like there's got to be some passion in there.
We didn't want to make Lord of the Rings, but
I adamantly said I wouldn't do it. So now I'm making 3 of them and 3 hobbits. 3
hobbits. I hate it all every minute. Can't stand Ian McKellen.
Oh.
But yeah, like I always have like a bit of worry whenever I hear people say stuff like that. It's like, oh, I grew up loving it, so I'm gonna make it now. And I'm like, don't let that cloud your judgment, bro. I want to make sure it's still like you don't. Maybe you can't separate yourself from it. That's the problem. How the hell did we get this conversation?
I don't know.
I was gonna say something about Hobbit.
I was getting really excited though. We were talking about something.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Hobbit.
Hobbit. Are we being racist right now?
No. Oh wait, what was it actually about? Shoot.
The screen thing you were going to talk about.
What?
Screen dimensions.
Who?
No.
What was we saying before we talked about King Kong? I completely sidetracked it. Damn it.
John Carter.
No. There's a reason. John Carter was the example for something.
Being too close to something?
No, that was the segue. Well, I'm looking forward to The Hobbit, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, yeah, about reviews and stuff, yeah. When you have kind of that feeling that you're going to enjoy something, like you're like, you know what, this new game's coming out, I have a good feeling about it. I've played the previous one, sequel, so I'm probably going to enjoy it. So in those cases, I tend to avoid the review, because I'm like, why have someone's what's the word when you go into something with not pre-knowledge, pre-judgment or something where it's like
you're going in knowing you're not gonna.
Well, if someone goes in and being like, "Oh, that character's really annoying," you're gonna kind of go in expecting that, and it's either gonna like amplify the fact that you're right, he is annoying, or you might, if you're lucky, you might be able to sway it all together and be like, "Oh, what the hell is he talking about?"
Dude,
but you are going in.
Wreck-It Ralph.
You are going in expecting it when someone's like, "Oh man, that there's a dance scene. It's the worst thing ever."
Oh,
you're
but
bracing
it's
yourself.
It's a review versus actually seeing it. Because I remember from the trailers we were like, "God, this Penelope character is so annoying."
Yeah,
and
that's
we
different.
Just totally fell for her in the movie.
What I mean is when
a friend says this was stupid, you're gonna.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh man, that scene is the worst." And you go in anticipating the worst, and so you're kind of bracing yourself throughout the movie. It's kind of I'd rather if I have a feeling I only go to a review if usually after the fact for the sake of debate, or if I really don't know if I want to see the movie or not. And that's actually fewer cases. 'Cause I don't see too many movies. And when I do, I'm like, I know I'm going to get something out of it. I know I'm going to enjoy it.
Preconceived notions, says Glenn.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Bias, says Daniel.
I think it's often the case when I personally didn't care to see the movie, but someone's like, oh, let's go see it. And then it's like, let me check the review.
Yeah.
But when I know, like, Lord of the Rings, I'm probably going to, or Hobbit, probably going to enjoy it. There might be, like, issues. Like, so far I'm hearing it's, like, it's good, but it's not, like, fantastic. I don't need the nitpicky right now to be like, I don't need to hear that. Oh, this character and this scene. I'm like, let me experience it myself.
Well, because I remember after Lord of the Rings came out, like, I loved Fellowship, and then I think, like, Ebert was like, boo! And I was like,
exactly. You're like, boo!
Well, maybe not Ebert. Maybe it was Siskel, but I was...
One of those guys.
Wait, no, who's Siskel? No, Rupert?
The young guy who's like, I'm on.
Yeah, he was like, there's so many characters, and I was like, who shut your face?
He's gonna love the Hobbit.
There's so many characters. Well, that's what I was worried about, because I'm like, there's 13 dwarves plus Bilbo, and it's like, but I think it'll be enjoyable.
Kel's asking what program you're using.
Sketchbook Pro.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I can see different color stuff on the other monitor.
It is. So yeah, so I'm kind of like, I'm not gonna watch any reviews or read anything. Like, I know like IGN is all posting up and being like, but like I'm gonna see it anyway. So like, why spoil the surprises and like when it's like, journey. Yeah, it's all about something to do with the journey. Yeah. So we'll check it out.
We'll find out.
Hopefully we'll enjoy it.
I hope so.
Until then, you can go to Union Station where they have a Hobbit display in Toronto. That's like this wall has an extruded out Hobbit door with grass and stuff. Yeah. It's
where?
It's in Union Station in the back near like the boards, and it's just around the corner. You can go to like the door and be like, "Oh,
have we done
the
any
Shire."
Photo ops there yet?
I haven't. It's out there. It's just pretty cool. Like I didn't like. There's posters all over for Lord of the Rings, and like we all don't really even need to advertise it that hard, or Hobbit, sorry, because we all know the name of the movie, so they don't need to advertise so hard.
Spider-Man.
But it's a really kind of cool little display. That's like just kind of like a door and some grass, and you're like, "Ooh, the Shire."
That's cute.
Yeah.
I went to where was it? Word on the Street, which was the book festival back in October, I think it was, and there was a people representing the Hobbit movie, and it was like giant like display, and I was like, oh cool. I was like, you can have a poster, and they were like, would you like a Hobbit snack? And I was like, sure, I'd like a Hobbit snack, and it was like the stupid like honey sticks that you put in coffee, and I was like, what? Lies.
Hobbits suck, and this snack is good enough for them.
I know they were having like Hobbit meals at
or
no, what's
at Denny's I think
or
in the States.
IHOP.
I think it's Denny's. I don't even know what IHOP is.
IHOP's like pancake.
Sounds like a website.
Madness.
It's like the undiscovered journey or whatever meal. Sloppy pancakes and bacon strips.
Oh my gosh.
Frodo, Bilbo, before every journey you need to pack it in. Bilbo, and it's like, wow, this is not subtle at all. But then again, the other is the New Zealand Air commercials they have. Those guys are nuts. And that's not even the first one they did. I saw some previous commercials that had like the same cast doing like other stuff with like sports teams and things.
Adorable.
And it's just, they just make ridiculous in-flight videos. So, yeah, the Lord of the Rings one is just like another one in their file. Check out the previous ones. It's been about 2 hours. We yelled quite a bit today.
We did yell quite a bit.
I think we solved all the world's problems.
I think the world is a better place.
As long as you keep it a better place, at least you're doing your part, right?
Yeah, leave it better than...
Then you showed up. You know, it's like a hotel... No, not a hotel room.
No, you're supposed to trash those.
You're supposed to steal the towels.
I can't even steal towels. I feel too guilty.
Yeah, I know.
Even the shampoo, I'm like, yeah, they might want to combine this into a whole new bottle.
They probably do, which is kind of gross.
Just pick up all the soap pieces and just mash them into a new one.
Yeah, jammed on a lot today.
Yeah.
Do we hit all the topics? Even if we didn't, whatever. I'm gonna run out of talking time.
Tie-dye.
We talked about tattoos. We talked about Christmas party washroom attendance. Oh, one last thing. I read this randomly somewhere. If you spray paper with hairspray, your pen doesn't bleed on it when you're drawing. Thoughts? Like an ink pen, maybe. Hairspray.
I have never tried it.
Okay, just putting that out there. Don't set anything on fire, but I'm just saying. Finally, Tara Strong, Fat Man on Batman. It's an old episode of Kevin Smith's podcast, Fat Man on Batman. Episode 4, he interviews Tara Strong. Local Torontonian, didn't know that. Yay. She does the voices of Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls, Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony, Batgirl from the animated series. She's now Harley Quinn in the video games. Many, many other characters. Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents. Raven from Teen Titans. She grew up on Bathurst, north, just around maybe south of Steeles, in Toronto. grew up to be an actress,
Oh,
grew up
gosh.
in a candy store, for God's sake. Her parents owned a candy store.
Yeah, how cute is that?
Insane. She was the kid with a candy store, and now she's one of the biggest voice actresses today. Definitely check out the episode. Listen, subscribe to the whole thing. It's called Fat Man on Batman from Kevin Smith, Smod Network, all that stuff.
It's
Great stuff. There's interviews with Mark Hamill. There's interviews with Kevin Conroy. Bruce Timm I think is probably one of them too.
Kevin Conroy's got a great voice.
It's incredible stuff. I've only started listening. You do want to check it out if you want to be inspired to pursue what you want to do. If you want to know more about voice acting and why you shouldn't do it in Canada, because there's no scale. As they say, it's like, hey, can I get paid more for this next one? And they're like, why would you want to do that? Well, you've gone Hollywood, haven't you? You know, it's just like, go to the States, go to LA. But it's fascinating stuff. Very good episode. And if you enjoy My Little Ponies, you also owe yourself to listen to it. If you enjoy Teen Titans, any of that stuff. Anything else we want to recommend? I think I talked about everything on my list.
Show's over. Thank you for watching the very last episode of Shanahanigans.
Everything I ever wanted to talk about. Beyond that, watch Archer if you haven't yet.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I'm halfway through season 2. I'm loving it. It's ludicrous. It's rapid fire dialogue. It is funny. It's got the cast of Arrested Development is in it. What do you find?
Once you, like, if you feel like, because I remember I was kind of uncomfortable with the first couple episodes, and then I totally fell into it, but then when I was rewatching with Heather, I was like, oh, maybe she's too young for this. It's so weird.
This is why we get ants.
It's just the character actings are just really funny.
Yeah.
Just the way they talk. Yup. Yay!
Nope. It's ridiculous. That whole office is completely deprived, though. They are degenerates to some degree.
I love the secretary character.
It's great. If you haven't seen Archie yet, from FX, the DVDs are out or something like that. You can watch it on Canadian Netflix. Lana! What? Danger Zone! That show kills me. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Chris is saying, wait, no more Shenanigans Live? I'm like, no, Katie's being silly. Toot from Drawn Together. Yes, that was also Tara Strong's character.
Oh, yeah.
She was also the princess too, I think, the one who sang in Drawn
princess,
Together and had those horrible racist songs.
Oh god, it was awesome.
Very awesome hearing you guys talk about these topics. Yes, Monique. We do this every week, every Wednesday around 8 o'clock. Probably on 8 o'clock, unless someone's making food downstairs and trying to eat it during the show's airing time.
I just got home from work late. This month is going to be I'm only in house for a little bit, and then I'm starting freelance from home. So I will once again be in the homestead. I should probably close this now. I think this is done. I will probably stick it on the internet with
the drawing. Cool. This is a drawing by Katie.
Let me go back to screen. Oh wait, camera.
Hide again. If you're intending on being a press or professional at the San Diego Comic-Con, you have 5 more days to fill out that form. We're doing it tonight because something's wrong with the Silly Kingdom URL, and I wanted to include it, but it isn't working for some reason.
Okay, that might be something I know how to fix.
And the blog spot is really long comparatively. It doesn't fit on the form. So if you want to be professional, or if you want to attend as a journal person who writes things and blogs, press San Diego Comic-Con, you have 5 days to apply.
You don't have to mail it in, do we?
No, you can email it in.
Okay.
It takes like 3 weeks to process, though, which doesn't really matter. Like, there you go. Be sure to get on that. We're going to get on that. Hopefully, we're going to be back this year. If not, we'll be hanging out doing other cool things.
Us.
We'll have our own convention. Definitely that. What else? Once again, check out the new chapter of Gears of War, Asphalt Fields, read by Jesse Hodgson. Go to uberfriendship.com and you can check it down there. You can download it, you can play it, live stream it, whatever you want to do. The comic is, of course, actually, before I do that, where's my bag?
Is there stuff?
Nothing to give away. I just want to give a quick recommendation.
Is this stuff I can borrow?
Yes. I was at the Labyrinth comic shop here in Toronto. They were having a customer appreciation sale with books on sale, and I picked up Brain Camp. Susan Kim, Lawrence Clavin, and Faith Erin Hicks.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Excellent.
I've been in a bit of a rut where I can't get into comics. Like some comics I start reading, I just get bored after a few pages and I do something else, go on Tumblr. I was gripped by this. Really well done. It starts off feeling like a Goosebumps type of thing, but it's got a lot more mature tones, which is honestly, we were talking about teens and kids today. It's how it really is. Stories written for kids by adults are usually pretty tame and safe and dumb. This is like how kids are. Not crazy. Not like Mighty Ducks 1. This is more like Mighty Ducks 2. but like not the quality of Mighty Ducks 2. I mean like what the kids are kind of doing, because one was more raw. We had a whole thing about that, but I really enjoy this book. Check out if you get a chance. Brain Camp. It's got some nice drama, like mystery leading up to stuff. Interesting kid characters and the frustrations of having parents who just don't listen to you. Fully recommend it. Here you go. You can
Andrew
borrow
Perez
it.
is yelling, Lana!
Brain Camp was a fun read. Yes, it was honestly a really fun read. The flow of the pacing was excellent, and I'd say that mainly because I've been hitting some roadblocks with reading some comics lately where I'm like, I'm not in the mood. But this gripped me.
Oh, it's got a cool, like, embossed...
excellent
like,
story.
Prose or something.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. And the other works by these creators. Like, you have a couple of Faith Arnett's books.
Oh, yeah. Actually, what's cool about her books is First Second is publishing them online first. You can read them all as webcomics. I know Friends with Boys was all serialized online.
I've been meaning to read that. Did I borrow that from you?
Yes, because I haven't been able to read all of it yet because I think you have it. And her new book, Nothing Can Possibly Go Wrong, is serialized right now on the internet. And once it's done, they'll be putting it together in a book, which I think is a really interesting way to go about as a publishing company, because it's like you're getting up the interest as well from the webcomic that's being put out.
It's kind of like a band method.
Yeah,
it's like here are songs and then buy the CD.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's an idea because the one big hindrance is there's so many comics out there. People are afraid to commit to like the $20. So why not give them a taste? Why not let them go for it? And honestly, with the internet especially, I think it's a strong method to get people interested. Like if they like these few pages that you think are really strong, chances are they'll get invested in the book.
I love that all the eyes of these characters are glossy.
Bunch of big Kickstarters just went down. I think the one for Johnny Wanders Over for book 3.
Sounds like
a lot of interesting stuff they had there. There's I think it's still going for like May. Today might be the last day for this LA Gamer Club thing that a lot of like Penn Ward and stuff are all behind it. Double Fine, like all these guys are supporting it, so check that out. Beyond that, if you guys have any Kickstarters, tell us quickly right now. You can't post a link, but you can just tell us what it's called. And if you can get it to us right before we end the show, then we'll talk about it. Maybe people will check it out. But until then, New 52, we have the Batwoman. I'm just returning all these books to Katie, basically. That's what I'm doing. Check it out. Excellent art. Like the hair on Batwoman is really interesting, very dynamic.
Yeah, isn't it gorgeous?
The action sequences are great. There's some things that
there's some really great just panel over like the way the whole double page.
Yeah, there's a nice double story. There's a really interesting open sequences like backstory and current story happening at the same time, and they parallel each other. So if you've enjoyed Cloud Atlas, it's kind of like there's this very nice parallel of stuff happening at the same time, which works really well in its favor. The overall plot, I'm not a huge fan to a certain degree. Like it's kind of like this like ghost story and children. I'm like that's feels kind of out of place. Like it's like Batman.
I was surprised.
It's like Batman, but it's all ghost story type stuff.
I was surprised there was such a big supernatural component in it because I was thinking Gotham's pretty reality based, but then there's like werewolves.
Yeah, and it's like is Batwoman the Scooby Doo of the Batman universe?
Yeah, I don't know if
that's
maybe
kind of my one gripe.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was something that maybe I should have been reading before getting this one because I was kind of thrown by that. Like I wasn't totally like I was like what is going on with this?
But definitely, it's got gorgeous art. Like it's very iconic. Like the black mask with the red hair is like it's just very gripping. So give it a shot. Check out of all the new 52. It's been one that I've actually been interested in and enjoyed.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't mean to like rag on all 52, but I did read a lot of the first ones. I'm kind of like, well, this is happening. Yeah. But this is really gripping, interesting stuff. So check out Batwoman if you get a chance. Any other comic recommendations, read that one too, says Joanna J. Oh, what's going on here? Oh yeah, the book you all should probably have by now. Silly Kingdom. I'd say go to sillykingdom.com, but that site isn't working at the moment. But it's technically just a link site. The actual site, though, is sillykingdom.blogspot.com, right? No, sillykingdomcomic.blogspot.com.
Sillykingdom-comic.blogspot.com.
I need that URL to work again. Yeah, go on Google, look up Silly Kingdom. You'll probably find the blogspot first. The book, of course, it's ridiculously cheap right now, and you're going to want to get it. We're, the Christmas season, holiday season, all those holidays are happening, and whatever holiday you do, you probably want to buy it for someone anyway. Just buy the damn book. So Silly Kingdom, go to the website. It's like what, $6 for the print copy right now? That's crazy pants.
99 cents for the digital.
Each copy's signed, so that's awesome. 99 cents for the digital. You can put it on all your digital devices. You can put it on everything. You put it on your TV nowadays, probably on a USB key. So like, you could be downstairs and people are like, "What you doing? Watching TV?" And you're like, "No, I'm reading comics." Click. And they'll be like, whoa! And that's the magic of Silly Kingdom. So be sure to check that out. Tell your friends. Go to the website. Beyond that, yeah. I got nothing. I've talked for 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Yeah, I guess we better get on Comic-Con and stuff.
Yeah, we gotta sign up for Comic-Con. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this talk and are inspired, and if you were once a hater, you've learned to be more accepting, and not even accepting, just broaden your mind.
Yeah.
Give everything a chance, as going back to our rant. Because there's cool people out there.
Yeah.
Invite them all to hang out.
Yeah. Just have a big people party.
Shenanigans Live every Wednesday around 8 o'clock.
Yep.
You're going to want to be there. Check out the Facebook page. Facebook/stuff. Shenanigans.
Yep.
Look for it on Google.
It's not stuff.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
We good?
We're good.
All right.
I'm going to press stop. So,
Cheers.
ciao, guys.
Good night.